Welcome to another episode of The Bastard Sermon. I'm one of your three hosts, Cody Hucker.
Patrick Seta.
And Luke Young.
And today we've actually got a fourth co-host with us today, Sean Moore. Say what's up so the listeners know.
What's up, guys?
Sean's a friend of the show, and he wanted to come on because he's a big fan of our guest that I'm about to introduce. We have Cincinnati-based national headlining comedian Geoff Tate. Give it up, boys.
Wow. Okay.
Dude, thank you so fucking much for coming on.
Really?
I mean, thanks for indulging how many tries it took for me to get it right.
No, that's all right, man. I've been listening to you for years now. I think I became a fan when Stanhope had mentioned you on something, and then I ended up looking up that Domino's pizza routine that you had done and just laughed my balls off because I was familiar with the fucking pizza from that bit that you were doing.
Yeah.
Or that same commercial. I'd watched it before, and the way that you broke it down, I was like, this dude's fucking hilarious. And then to find out that you're in Cincinnati doing shit here, you were like a super accessible guy to go out and see. So I saw you with like Kanane and Stanhope and fucking all kinds of different comedians. If our listeners aren't familiar, you should absolutely go out to one of Geoff's shows. Are you based out of Go Bananas usually? Is that where you're always doing spots?
Yeah, that's where I do most of my spots. I just was there for the last 2 weekends.
Yeah.
One was my own, and then so 2 weekends ago it was me, and then last weekend it was Benson.
Did you do the Doug Loves Movies?
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to go to that so bad.
I just found out that you were on that podcast like maybe 5 minutes before you arrive, and
yeah?
I fucking love that podcast.
You
That's
listen
so
to that
fucking
podcast?
cool to me. What's that?
You listen to that podcast?
Yeah, I listen to Doug Loves Movies.
They
absolutely.
chant my fucking name,
Yeah,
dude.
how have you never fucking...
I don't know. It just didn't click.
know
It
it
didn't
was-
click until I heard it. I was like, holy shit! I listen to this guy quite a lot.
That's
Right.
how much show prep Pat does before the thing. I was like,
Well,
Pat,
also-
Geoff Tate's coming on in a month, so you think you can listen to one thing?
I mean,
Nope.
I do think it's cool that it's like I live here. Like if it was somebody else that lived here, and I was, because I listened to the show since it started, so I just got lucky. I get to be on it all the time. That's probably one of the reasons why I get to be on it all the time.
Yeah, dude.
Is and I'm just a fan of the show. I know how it's supposed to go, and nobody does that all the time that lives in fucking Cincinnati.
Right.
No, I hear
The
you.
other people that do it all the time, definitely, they all live where you think, New York or L.A.
Well, there's another popular podcast that's from the Cincinnati area. My brother, and my dad, or whatever.
my brother, and me.
Can't remember. Yeah, that one.
One of those dudes lives here.
Mhm. And then one of the guys from Watch Out for Fireballs. Do you know that podcast?
I don't.
So it's a video game podcast where they're pretty surprisingly really popular, and they have like these 3 hour long podcasts based on specific video games, like the history of God of War or something like that. And one of those guys are based out in Cincinnati. There's quite a lot of popular podcasters that can be in this area. It's kind of surprising. You learn more all the time.
Wow.
Is it like, as far as big comedians that are based in Cincinnati, what is it, just you and Mike Cronin? I mean, we've got friends that come and do the thing, like Jay Armstrong and Ram Barnacle and stuff like that, but they're not like, I mean, they're great fucking comedians. I don't want to at all say that they're not great comedians, but they're not on like your level.
You guys
doing
just
comedy.
see Cody try to castrate the guest of the show.
Oh, no,
Cronin lives in Chicago.
Oh, he's not even from here. I guess.
No,
I've just seen him
he's
here.
from here, but he lives in Chicago now.
Gotcha.
And Josh Sneed still lives here.
Okay.
He was a few classes before me. He started in like the mid '90s.
What was your start date?
03, early 2003. Yeah, it was cold. Yeah.
It's a rough time of comedy.
Did you start out here, or was it when you were moving? I know that you lived in a bunch of different places over time.
Oh, tons of places, but I did start here. I started at Go Bananas, and just kept doing it. And then I lived in Philadelphia for a little while, and then I moved back. And then I moved back to Philadelphia, and then I went to LA. Then I came back. So the whole time, it's been a long time. I've been in a lot of places those 16 years, but.
Right. I hate to do the fucking so how did you start comedy? Every question you've ever been asked on any fucking interview ever, but I have to because the entry is so different for every single person that does it. I'm just curious, how did you get into a comedy club for the first time?
Well, the first comedy show I ever saw was my brother and I went and saw Hedberg in '98. And then I waited tables at Joker's in Dayton for like 3 weeks.
Was it a shitty job?
Well, I quit. No, it was a good job. I liked comedy, so I didn't want to work there. And it was the first 2 weeks I worked there was like, it was like the Chinaman was one of the headliners, and the other one was a hypnotist.
Oh
Like
Jesus!
a comedy
like the hackiest
hypnotist?
shit that you could.
Yeah, so I made a lot of money those 2 weeks. 'Cause who cares? Like I wasn't paying. But then the third week was Jimmy Pardo, and I didn't make any money because I didn't do any of my work.
Have you ever been hypnotized?
No, I tried to once though, and it did not work.
What was that experience like? What did you?
I've gone up a couple of times to see.
Like to try it out? Is it just like you have to be super open to it to really get? I'm sorry about my dog's upset.
No,
guys.
nobody gets hypnotized. It's just that's why nothing gets pushed too far.
Right.
It's all just you kind of have an idea that it's going to happen anyway, and I could tell that when I was up there, like making eye contact and stuff, like everybody was up there was pretending.
So it's
So
all
you-
just to
you-
be part of the show, right?
Yeah, it's all just
not-
to be part of the show. Yeah.
They're just pretend blowing the hypnotist.
Well, yeah. I mean, they are pretend blowing the hypnotist because it's a show in America.
I just feel like
Not
that'd be so
it's-
crazy.
I mean, if he was actually blowing the hypnotist, he'd probably get arrested. They'd both get arrested.
I'm gonna go grab my dogs. I'm sorry, guys.
No, you're all right.
That's
It
cool.
happens.
Uh,
But
So-
anyways,
So when
so I quit after Jimmy Pardo because I didn't want to have to hope it sucked. Like every week I would have to hope the comic was bad or else I wasn't going to make any money.
because if the comics suck, then you're like the star of the show for the weekend or whatever.
No, I'm just I'm a good server if I'm not paying attention to the show. And then
Oh,
when
true.
Jimmy Pardo was there, I couldn't stop watching the show, so I didn't make any money, so I quit. Then like 3 years later, I started finally. But I didn't know how. Somehow I didn't figure out about open mics or whatever. I didn't know how to start. And then I just
Did you have a dude that pushed you, like somebody that you knew in that circuit already, or were you just like, this
No.
seems fucking cool. I like watching comedy. I'm getting up there.
yeah, I mean, basically it was like that. And then I got a job at the hotel at random. I didn't know it was a hotel that they used as where the comics stayed, but it was. And I could go Bananas for free. And that was back when you couldn't go Bananas for free all the time.
Oh, dude, I get fucking emails every
Yeah.
3 minutes about a free
Well, it was
Go Bananas
before the
show.
Funny Bone came. People used to pay to see comedy, and then the Funny Bone came and gave the first manager, or the second manager was named Rick, and his idea was he wanted to just put Go Bananas out of business, so he gave away tickets for like 4 years to everything.
Dude, that's fucking horrible.
And
Go
then
Bananas
it-
is such a good club,
Now,
though.
yeah, but Rick was he worked for the Funny Bone, and he's a fucking, he cares about the wrong things. So instead now he's somewhere else. I think the last time I saw him, he was in Richmond. But because of that, nobody pays money to see comedy anymore in this fucking town.
That sucks, man. That sounds like the dregs of being in show business and shit. Like having
Well,
to
it's-
deal with these fucking people that are just doing this competitive
Well,
shit.
that's what happens when you are in the dregs of show business.
Yeah.
I mean, it's show business, but you're in Newport, Kentucky.
Right.
So when your whatever your show business is takes you to Newport, Kentucky, and a guy named Rick can fuck up your weekend, it's not the best
Well, there's a reason that
show business.
Well, there's a reason that the Newport Funny Bone closed down. That I went to their last show ever there, and it was okay,
Closed down?
but it was a little bit of a disaster. I mean,
It moved.
Oh,
yeah,
it moved?
and now
not
it's a
closed?
good club. Now it's a really good club, but
Well, the reason why is because they get deals whenever they go into a place. Why do you think the Funny Bones are in the same type of mall wherever they go? It's a
part of the package sort of situation.
well, yeah. The first one like that was in Columbus, and the developer that made those malls that look like towns is the guy that the first one was in Columbus, and they put the Funny Bone in there, and it drew people in, and it helped make his mall real popular. So now whenever they open a new one, they put a Funny Bone in or an Improv if it's a good enough town. We almost got an Improv. There was a lot of debate, and they decided at the last minute that it was going to be a Funny Bone instead. it would have just changed the signage and the stature of the club. Like, you don't get free tickets to the Improv.
Right.
But
just out of club loyalty, do you just stay at Go Bananas because you fucking love that place, or what is the? If you're not, it sounds like it's hard to make money doing that on even on your level. Like, it's difficult to make a buck doing that when that's the situation, when they're giving out free fucking tickets left and right to try to compete for business, for drink sales.
Well, no, I got to a point here where, especially here, I do okay. Like, they don't really give away that many to mine anymore. I mean, they do more now than they did like maybe 2 years ago, but honestly, they've been going through their own fucking strug, and everybody ends up with the audience they deserve, including your own business. So when you spend a long time not giving a fuck, you're gonna end up with an audience that doesn't give a fuck how they spend their time.
Right.
So they have a real who cares type of audience right now.
Can that be tough though? I feel like that'd be tough if they just don't give a fuck at all. What stops them from being rowdy? I don't know.
You just
That's
gotta
a tough one
be
to answer.
better than them. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're better than them, then they'll stop. Like, they're not really gonna. They can only control however much of the show you let them control. And if they're fucking, like, I'll just make them, like, you just tell them to leave, I'll just make them leave.
Have you ever had to do that?
All the time.
Really?
So many times.
Yeah, he's been doing it for 16 years. You don't think that he's had a rowdy bit of people every once and again?
Man, I was talking shit a couple days ago to somebody, like in the audience. There's people do it all the time. There's always somebody who's either too drunk to know what they're doing or too insecure to let someone else be doing something. It's usually, if it's dudes, then you've made their lady friend laugh too much.
Like, dudes will be ready to fight you because you.
Oh, this motherfucker.
For real, they'll try to steal focus and they'll get like real jealous or whatever. Like, but dudes, especially in the Midwest, dudes
Talk of
here,
experience.
they don't. Well, I know that because I am from the Midwest area. I am from a long line of Midwestern people, and I've been to the West Coast too. So it comes from a little bit of knowledge. Nobody in the Midwest, everybody, like, they get so angry so fast because they don't know that they're just embarrassed,
Right.
or that they're, that they're feeling insecure or whatever. Like, so it just flashes up like anger right away. So, I mean, if you say that to them, that tends to calm it down a little bit. They're not gonna.
Do you give them that whole speech every time that they start going into it?
I'll say whatever, man. I went through a period of time where I would explain. I'd be like, comedy is like it's like, imagine you were at a House of Cards club, and everyone paid their money to watch me build a house of cards in 45 minutes. I could build a pretty fucking dope house of cards in 45 minutes. But not if you keep knocking it down every couple of minutes.
Right.
Then at the end, you're going to have like a 10-minute big house of cards. It'd be like, well, that's not that impressive. Sure, I know. I'm with you. It's not. I'm also disappointed in this. I can do better, but they're going to leave. People leave and they think it was me. But it's like, it's just also tenuous that it can get knocked down by some fuckface.
Especially fuckfaces that are there just because they got free tickets and they wanted to go see. It's like it's Stanhope's line. I'm not gonna fucking say it like it's my own, but just people that paid just to go see comedy. It doesn't. You wouldn't go pay to see music as his line or whatever. You want a specific thing that you're out going to go see.
I mean,
people would just go see any fucking comedian just because it's comedy. And that always made sense to me because that's who you're fighting against. Those are those fuckheads that are in the crowd that are being dicks. I feel like.
Well, it's not that impulse. Like, I don't mind the impulse of going to see comedy, but to do that without knowing that's what you're doing is a problem.
Right.
Like, I've gone to see a movie and just been like, oh, I got to see whatever starts next.
Right.
Like I don't, or one time, like, I saw Zodiac because I wanted to see the longest movie in the theater. I had to kill a whole afternoon. So I said, what's the longest movie you got? They said Zodiac, and I said, sure. I had no idea what it was. But I can't get 10 minutes into that movie and then be like, hey, fuck you.
Yeah,
You're not a movie I like.
Start throwing popcorn.
I
at
know
the
what I
screen.
did. I went and saw a movie because it was next. Like, if you go to see a comedian because you liked it last time, you can't get mad.
Yeah.
It's the getting mad part. It's not the going because it's comedy. Like, if you go see music and then you're like, oh, I don't like reggae. People know how to do that. They go, oh, I don't like, I'm not into heavy metal, so this band sucks to me. Like, they understand that concept a little better. But comedy, everybody knows how to talk. So even if you're good at it, it looks like you're not doing anything.
Right.
Nobody ever walked in and saw Jimmy Page and was like, oh, fuck, I could do that.
It's a really good way to put it, because nobody can just fucking whip out a guitar solo on fucking somebody that's up on stage and shit. They didn't bring their own equipment, but anybody can fucking yell out, say stupid shit.
But even if they did bring a guitar, like, let's say they're not gonna. Nobody thinks that what he's doing is easy.
Right.
The better you get at that, the harder it looks. But when comedy looks hard, it's because you're not very good at it.
Right.
Yeah.
Does this shit ever, like, dealing with, like, politics of comedy and show business and stuff like that, does it make it a lot less fun and turn it into just... I'm curious about that. Does it ever stop being, like... It seems like a fucking awesome way to make a living just because of how much fun it's got to be to interact with the type of people that you get to interact with. But does this shit ever just become a grind like any other grind?
Yeah, it does if you let it. And everybody lets it because they don't know that people act like there's rules. There's no fucking rules. There's no fucking boss.
Right.
Like, I remember Nate Bargatze, like, so long ago, he had this joke about, like, I want to quit comedy, but how do you quit comedy? What do I have to call up Cosby and be like, I am done? There's nobody cares. You just stop doing it, and in 18 years, people are like, I wonder what happened to Nate Bargatze. Probably he died. Like, that's just what they think. Like, I don't know where I was going with that, but it's definitely... It definitely can be a grind, but it can be a grind in the same way that everything could be a grind, because it all depends on attitude. Like, if you try to, like, I learned, and I've, like, broken it down over the last few years of trying to, like, remove, like, ego and competition and stuff from what's happening, to the point where now, like, it doesn't bother me that, like, it doesn't bother me that I don't headline all the Funny Bones or whatever. Like, I get what they got. Like, they're doing their business thing, and it's not what I would do. Like, I know I don't want to do comedy the way that I would have to do it.
Right.
And they don't want me to do it this way. And so, like, why am I going to be mad about it? Like, I could be mad about it, and everyone's mad about it. And I was mad about it for a long time. But, I mean, they're not the only game in town. I just need a room now.
Right. Do you think that the connectivity of the internet, like the way that you're able to, like, I'm sure when you started in 03, I mean, I know that there was fucking internet, but I don't know that it was on this level or this fast. Does that help at all? Does that help being able to, like, reach out to this many fans directly, or be able to get on, like, a podcast?
It's got to, right?
Shit like
it
that?
has to.
Right. Well,
how the fuck else would anybody know to come see me?
Flyers.
Yeah,
but nobody's
word
going to
of
see
mouth.
a flyer.
Flyers in
Who
North
sees flyers
Side.
anymore? No one leaves their home.
Right? They're just on telephone poles in Northside.
Hamilton Avenue. That's fucking
They look like
it.
ransom notes. Some of them, the ones John Hayes makes, looks like ransom notes.
I saw you up in North Side once, and I saw you through a window. I was like, that's fucking Geoff Tate and his brother. And I was like, I'm about to go in and say hi. And I was like, dude, I'm not about to interrupt his meal or whatever the fuck he's doing in there. But I was like, oh, shit.
Probably a meal. Was it at the Blue Jay?
It was like, the whole front of the building was like a big glass window, and you're in like a secluded area at a small table.
Sounds like Blue Jay. It's right next
It
to that
might have
record
been.
store.
He was staring
next
in the
to-
window.
It was next
at
to the
you
record
until
store,
you
yeah.
got the
Yeah,
look.
that's the
Blue
Blue
Jay.
Yeah.
It's a solid little fucking greasy spoon diner. To go
Yeah, I
get some
love it.
food
It's good
at.
as fuck, to be honest, and cheap.
It's in a bunch of movies now, too.
Is it really?
Yeah.
What
What
movies?
movies?
It's in The Old Man and the Gun,
Mm-hmm.
and The Killing of a Sacred Deer.
I mean, it looks like it's straight out of the 70s. Like, it did not change since they opened at all. It looks so, you look like you're walking into a time machine when you kind of go in there, like the 90s,
They didn't
80s.
even take the pictures down when
They're all
they
the
shot
same.
that Robert Old Man and the Gun. The Old Man and the Gun was set in the 70s, and it looks the exact, like the Blue Jay looks exactly the fucking same.
That's probably why they chose that, because they're like, we don't have to do any renovation. We don't have to spend a fucking dime. Just pay these people for this spot.
Well,
and
they're
it's
in a
good to go.
lot of movies because of that now.
They probably do really well. I mean, they're only open till about like 3 p.m. though. That's the thing.
3:30.
Yeah, I think that's the crime though, because it is damn good.
8 to 3:30. They're closed right now. They close for 2 weeks at the beginning of July every
Really?
year, and I always forget, and I always get fucking mad. Fuck. Right? I got to spend 2 weeks finding another place to have breakfast.
There's
And
not a lot
Sounds
of
like you really
places over
plan
there.
your life around Blue Jay being open and shit.
I plan my life around breakfast. And they're the ones that have it. I go to Waffle House a lot too, but I didn't today. I went to that place called the Proud Rooster.
I
What
know
is
what you're talking
that?
about. It's on the west side.
No, it's in Clifton.
Oh, I'm thinking of something else.
It wasn't
I guess
good. I'll
there's
never
two
go
of
back.
them.
Oh, there must be 2 of them then.
Yeah, I think so.
That actually, it's just
Never
fried
been.
chicken, right?
But it's supposed to be a diner. It's got breakfast and stuff. I didn't even look at the whole menu. I just looked at the breakfast part because I went there for breakfast today.
I don't
Never
know.
again.
Is it fucking garbage? Just
No,
shout 'em out
it's
for being
fine.
shit.
It's fine. I'll tell you what. It had the best. It had the best non-Blue Jay service.
Okay.
Like one-off, like non-Blue Jay, non-Waffle House, except for the one in Clifton on Taft. Waffle House, like they do a good job. People, even I used to have jokes about them, but I guess like they might have gotten better or whatever. Or maybe I just stopped being up my own butt all the time about everything needing to be something else, right?
Yeah. Dude, for the real selling point for going to Blue Jay, forget the service and whatever, is that the menu, the prices on the menu haven't changed since 1977, whenever the fuck they opened that thing.
Yeah,
you get a
it's
whole
pretty.
stack of pancakes and fucking 8 pieces of bacon, 3 eggs, and 9 cups of coffee, and it'd be like $4.50. Like, what? $4.50? I could do that. Let's feed the whole family and shit.
It's a little. I heard a guy yesterday, or I heard a guy last week. He was like ranting about Taco Bell, and it was he was a comic, so it really felt like he was doing a bit. And it was is this tobacco?
No,
Excellent.
Sure.
No, I don't.
it's not.
We're in the city limits, or a couple of blocks from it.
It's earwax. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I forget. I mean, I'm already a little stoned.
You
with
said
it.
there was a comic ranting about Taco Bell,
Oh,
and it felt like a bit.
It was like, man, I feel like everything on their menu has gone up a nickel every year. It's like, this is your punchline? Everything's gone up a nickel every year. Just a nickel? You're talking about 20 years ago. So it's $1 more?
Sounds like a gross under
Gasoline went up by like a factor of 5. The fact that you noticed it is because you keep voting for Republicans.
You're a big politics guy now, right? Or have you always been? Or how does that work? Because I've seen you go on a couple rants about it, but like, you really fucking hate Trump. I get that sense from everything that you post online or say in the club or whatever.
He's the worst.
He's the fucking worst, dude.
I can't. I can't understate how bad he is. Like, not only is he bad, but now we have a lot of people trying to fucking on the fly gaslight us into believing that he's good or that he's not as bad or whatever. And it's like on the go gaslighting. I mean, this motherfucker, George Bush, said nuclear.
Nuclear.
And
He said a lot
then,
more than that.
no, I know, but he said nuclear, and then someone threw a shoe at him, and then there was mission accomplished, and he choked on a pretzel, and you're doing a heck of a job, Brownie. That was 5 things in 8 years.
But he was just like a buffoon. Like, he might have hated
Yeah,
his
he
things,
was a
but
bad, dumb person, and still he only had 5 of those things in 8 years. Trump drug toilet paper up the steps of Air Force One a couple months ago.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
He did.
And no one stopped him.
Yeah,
Not only did no one stop him,
that's the most positive thing he's done.
By the end of the night, no one was even talking about it anymore. No, he got up to the top of the stairs and then was like, "Fuck Mexico," and everyone's like, "Well, we can't even mention the toilet paper now. He's gone way past even bringing it up. Feels flippant."
It's kind of fucking scary, isn't it?
Yeah, it's terrifying.
What's even scarier is how many fucking loyalists are like the whole thing. Like, it kind of makes
It's
you
not
worry.
that bad. I think they're just loud.
I hope that's the case. Cause
Here's
it makes
how
you
you
really
know.
nervous.
Don't be nervous. Like, the reason why they win elections is because they've cheated and they fucked the district so badly. And they fucked the voter rolls. That's the only reason why they win elections. Now, if you're worried about an actual, like, that many people, don't worry about that. Because think about every time there's a fucking Kelsey Grammer movie that comes out, bombs. Every fucking church movie, bombs. Every fucking... Like, whenever there's anything where you could prove, like, through the market,
Yeah, look,
that there actually is that large of a group of people. Like, Booksmart made more than that movie about that kid that fell through the ice and didn't die.
You know why though?
But-
It's free to vote.
No, I know, but it's not because it's free to vote. It's because there aren't that many of them. It's because there's enough of them for the movie to bomb. And there's enough of them to get mad about online about fucking who plays the Little Mermaid. But there isn't enough of them to actually win any elections if they weren't cheating.
Right.
So just fix that. Like, if we get to that part, if we somehow figure that part out, how to stop them from cheating, or like, but there's also a thing of like decent, like when you're like a decent person. And you try, and you have like idea, like if you're like trying to be helpful or whatever, and then you discuss ideas. Like Republicans don't compromise on anything, and so the fact that Democrats ever do is ridiculous. Like if you flipped the abortion debate, and it was Republicans were for abortion, they would be pushing like pro. You'd be allowed to abort a baby until he was like 6 years old.
That's 100% true.
And that's where they'll start the compromise. And you'll have to be like, okay, just abortions whenever you want, but not after they're born. And then you'll feel like, oh, we compromised. But you didn't compromise. Like when you do it with them, that's why. Have you ever heard the phrase, in cases of rape or incest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a ridiculous sentence that is. In cases... They differentiate. That was a person coming up with something. Well, there's no way you would say no to this. And guess what? They say no to it because they don't compromise. They're just fuck faces who play. They don't. But it's not enough. That's what I'm saying is like the group of people is not enough people.
Do you think that when they get their big racist mascot, Trump, for example, in office, do you feel like that it gives people that have this fucking hatred in their heart more, like they feel like now they can fucking act this way because they have their fucking
absolutely.
mascot
That
in
happened
office?
It's a
immediately.
fucking leader, dude. It's
Oh,
their
yeah.
leader.
It happened to
It
my
establishes an agenda.
Your girlfriend
For the
became
party.
racist?
girlfriend. Yeah, no.
Yeah, dude, she
No,
hates
Your
the
girlfriend
Little
was like,
Mermaid
finally,
now.
we could talk about it. I've been pretending this whole time.
She has real strong feelings about Ariel. No, she has a fucking bumper sticker. I'm not a political person, but she has that bumper sticker that says what it's something, wish Obama was here or some shit like that. And it was just like she got chased around the neighborhood by some fuckhead in like
That's
a
so
Ford
fucking
F-150
crazy.
screaming that she's the N-word and N-word lover, this, that, and the other, and fuck her, and
Wow.
fuck Obama.
That's
and
crazy.
She got chased
Fucking
around
crazy.
our neighborhood, and I went out looking for him, and I couldn't find him or whatever. They had some fucking shitty fake license, not fake license plate, but the temporary license plate tags, and she even called the cops and tried to give him a description or whatever, but didn't have no video to prove it. But she's had issues where people fuck with her on the road because she's got a bumper sticker, like the wish
People
Obama
are
was
so
here.
hardcore about that nowadays. I was at fucking Michael's like a couple weeks ago when I was framing Mansfield's shirt over there, and when I went there, there was an African American lady that was walking down the street, and she walked out to the other side of the parking lot, and some white woman just came up, fucking almost ran into her. Like, literally had to squeal on her brakes without... She wasn't fucking looking or anything or stopping. And she was just calling the N-word and shit. And it's just like, it's your fucking fault. There's just a ridiculous amount more of racism. She was feel like
calling her the N-word right there.
Yeah, like in the middle of the street screaming it. It's embarrassing.
But you gotta, in that situation, you gotta fucking make it hard on her. Like, you gotta scream at her. Like, you gotta ruin her day. Like, it's your duty as a not racist person to follow that cunt into Michael's and yell at her until she understands what she did was wrong.
Have you done some shit like that without like statute of limitations?
I have
beyond?
no idea. None of this never happens around me.
Right.
It doesn't. Like, I fly all the time. Do you know how much I want there to be somebody fucking going off on my airplane? Because there's never a video of someone else getting up and being like, shut the fuck up. Get her off. Get this fucking lady out of here.
Right.
Like, I'd rather, I don't want her on the plane. I don't feel safe with a fucking maniac on the plane screaming about Trump stuff.
Yeah, dude.
I laughed at a guy's face who was wearing a 2020 Trump hat. Just looked at him and laughed right in his face.
There was somebody that wore, it was one of the people that I work with. They wore a MAGA hat, but it's like, this girl was like straight up, like she was born in Africa, and like the darkest person that we work with, it's like he fucking hates everybody that's not white, right? Like, isn't that his whole fucking thing? Like, why are you supporting his thing? Like, I don't know.
Is she supporting it?
She's got the big MAGA hat on and fucking is pro-Trump and whatnot.
Maybe she's
like,
Kanyeing
fucking
it.
Strange. And then there's one of the bartenders. There's a lot of gay front of staff or whatever that they hate this dude because he fucking sits there and he'll get drunk after his shift and start going on about how he loves Trump. And all the other gay dudes fight with him. He's gay too. But they're like, he fucking hates everything that is us. Like, why are you fucking supporting this guy? Like, why are you? And you sit there and make like these fucking delusional, weird points about why he supports him.
I bet you there is something in the employee handbook about being drunk on premises that's there. That is, it's rare, you know, it's the kind of rule that's there because when you need it, you have it.
I see what you're saying.
Right? You don't just enforce it every day, but you have it for the people who can't do that. And this guy can't do that. So if you don't, I mean, this sounds like a management problem. Who's in charge? Is that person the manager?
I probably shouldn't get too deep.
Right. No, but like, you don't have to say any names. There's in general.
He's not a manager. No, absolutely not.
Is there a manager?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, then that manager needs to get this. Like, if he's causing a problem at, being drunk at work, then that's something that the management should deal with. You wouldn't let a customer do that.
I hear what you're saying. I don't know that it goes that extreme, but I think that it's interesting when I see things like that happen because he's such a divisive person, like as a president, that you figure that everybody on any, like, not fucking in a Klan rally is just like, fuck that guy, but it's not the case at all. Like, there's...
No, what you haven't wrapped your head around yet is there's more people at that Klan rally than you thought.
True.
What do you mean?
Well, it's like when the dude came into office, like everybody came out of the hate closet suddenly.
Yeah, absolutely. They were just following what monkey see, monkey do, and a fucking attitude.
Right? I mean, even at Klan rallies, they wear fucking hoods. They don't even want to know each other. So who knows how many people there? I've never been to one. Maybe they have more people than I thought. I would have guessed none.
There's still people that haven't outed themselves. It's like coming out of the closet almost. Like, all it takes is like you posting some racist shit, and then all your friends are like noticing like characteristics you've had for years. Like, oh shit, like he always did say the N-word. Like, he did say N-word like a whole fucking lot.
We had some guy that was that Luke invited that was a Nazi one time.
Yeah,
we accidentally
We had no idea. We had no idea until like halfway through the episode or some shit. Or wait till the afterwards.
We didn't know until I got a phone call after the episode was over, and I was like, that ended fucking weird. Like, I don't want that dude to come back anymore. And then fucking apparently, as I'm driving my car away, he's outside trying to convince Luke to come to fucking whoever the people that did Charlottesville are, that's his clan of people.
Oh, the
whatever.
Proud Boys.
He wanted me to talk to the dude who organized the whole thing.
To get you in
He
it?
He wanted to see if we could have him on the show so he could explain his point of view.
Oh my God. What
And then
the
Luke
fuck?
called me immediately, and he was like, guess what? That fucking dude was a Nazi. And we clowned him for like 30 minutes, and then like the next episode was like, our bad. We didn't know this guy was a Nazi. And just like went on and on about how he's a fucking Nazi or whatever. But
fun.
yeah,
Let's have
accidentally
that. But let's have that guy on. Can I be here when you have the guy that started the Charlottesville thing?
To my house?
We don't want to let.
No. You're not gonna. He's not coming here.
Oh, Skype.
Oh, Skype him in or some shit.
Have him Skype in right there.
How
And then-
crazy would that be? What the fuck?
We've already burned this bridge to the ground and pissed on it, so there's no.
No,
way.
I don't think he ever listened to his own
I don't think he
episode
did.
because
Really?
he still comments on my shit.
The
Oh,
fact that I
Jesus.
was okay, like I didn't get robbed.
Set this up. We'll bring Geoff Tate back to go fucking argue with him.
In 2014, I did a show in a bar in Indiana somewhere, and I wouldn't start until there was a guy with a swastika tattooed on his arm, and I wouldn't start the show until he left.
Oh, okay.
Damn.
I thought that would be fun. A lot of people left, which was also fine.
Yeah, good.
Well,
Fuck 'em.
obviously, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't want them there.
Why would
right.
you?
Do you know how? Also, I
It's a
was
sick part of society.
everyone's dumb. That's a fun. I didn't know that was gonna be what the future was like, where everyone was fucking dumb and terrifying.
Yeah.
There's goddamn tanks and thunderstorms every day. It's always gonna be unpleasant.
Spoken like a man with a lot of anxiety about a lot of things.
I actually don't like it's too much, so I don't have any now.
So, like, sensory overload just killed your anxiety?
No. I've worked on it too. Like I went to therapy for a long time and do a lot of like meditating, and I also like quit drinking and quit smoking, and now I just get high and I take a lot of Ubers and stuff, and I have a little bit of money.
I wanted to ask you about that. Like, you're like, I guess it wouldn't be a road to recovery or whatever, but what inspired the fucking no more alcohol, no more drugs, no more fucking around like that?
Oh, don't say no more drugs.
Well, I mean, weed and whatnot.
yeah.
Is that
I
a
got
drug
weed.
though?
I don't know if you do psychedelics, but yeah, obviously the ones that are.
I just do the two that if you're gonna do two, then these are the two.
Mushrooms.
Yeah.
And weed.
And weed. And I don't do, honestly, the last couple of times I've been around cocaine, I said no because I thought it would make me want a cigarette.
Oh, yeah. It
you used to
absolutely
smoke?
would have.
yeah, but I quit smoking.
Dude,
I don't even want it anymore.
Was it still hard to pass up that free bump, though? You're like, free cocaine. But,
No.
because
What's the deal? Like that's not the fucking speed I want to be at. That's not. I'm old enough now to know that I know what I like, and also it's like once you embrace everything. I mean, man, everything that fucking freaked me out on drugs when I was a kid,
What do you mean?
I could do through the phone. Like, there's no reason to be paranoid about anything anymore. I'm just gonna call an Uber.
Right.
And then I'm gonna right.
Yeah.
And if I can't figure it out, I could deposit checks on my phone. I can get a ride. I can order anything, literally anything, and it'll come to my house very soon.
Right,
There's
you
a
can
there's a
order
shitload of
2x4s
things.
and shit. You can order sheets of
What?
plywood online. Just
Yeah.
get that shit sent to your house through Amazon.
Dude, you know,
I
yeah,
just found
Amazon's
that out.
fucking crazy.
I'm
They'll
trying to
deliver
build-
within 2
I'm
hours.
trying to build some shit, and they have every single thing I need on Amazon.com.
I was on
I'm
fucking-
just like, what the fuck?
I was on fucking vacation
cool, though.
recently, and the guy was watching my house. Completely ran out of dog food, so I just fucking ordered on Amazon. Like, oh, they'll be there in an hour or 2 hours, and I fucking ordered the food, and it was there within 2 hours. That fucking blows my mind that we have the ability to do this shit.
Right.
It's crazy.
So there are some positive aspects to the apocalypse.
Is that how you really look at it, though? That it's the apocalypse is happening, basically?
Well, how else can you look at it?
Gonna be
There's
some
a
big
dickhead in
changes.
office
I
for a
mean,
couple
I think
years.
it's close.
Yeah, but after that, then what? We're still gonna die in fucking 10 years because we're not gonna be able to breathe. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't. I mean, we could make our days.
What do you
more
mean we're
fun.
not gonna breathe? Like,
In, like,
whoa,
20
breathe.
Like
Breathe?
we're all the scientists are like, now we have to do something now, please,
Yeah, for
everybody
climate
now.
change?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
Like
smoked
you gotta do something now, everybody except, and they don't.
The people in charge.
Well, the people in charge they talk.
It's fine.
I don't really like to be political this much, but whatever. We're into it.
Fuck it. Let's.
I read there was an op-ed about the war on coal is real. Motherfucker, coal has declared war on us. We're dying because of that. Not the other. Like, fuck coal. Why do we have to save coal? There's more people work for Arby's.
Right.
It would be easy. Being a coal miner gets you killed. Also, that's dangerous.
There's no benefit. That you make more money without being involved with coal. You make way more money and there's way more jobs.
Just hire all the coal people to put solar panels on the houses for the same amount of money. And then if you don't dig coal and then you get solar panels and then you make all the cars electric, then we could pay for all of that by cutting our defense budget by like 5%, and it would increase, like, we would not lose any defense because we no longer have to defend the entire Middle East, because that's where we get a tiny part of we get more oil from Canada than we do from Saudi Arabia and the other, like, combined more from Canada. But we have fucking ships in the canals in the Middle East to get that oil, get that Saudi Arabian oil, get that sweet 8% of our
and opium poppies, really, for the pharmaceutical fucking heroin crisis.
I mean, do that, but you don't have to fucking fight wars over opium.
Fact.
Yeah. Well, they feel like they do, and
they might, but that's like a local problem. Getting all the oil from there is not. Declaring war on oil is, we should, because it's what causes all of our shit.
We've got a better way to do fucking everything now. It's like what you were talking about before with, like, everything can be delivered to your house now. You can fucking, there's cool parts of the apocalypse. Yeah, you could fucking do all this cool future shit. You can buy your rides everywhere right from your phone, deposit your checks, all the things that you were talking about before. But we're still burning coal to get our fucking electricity. We're still burning oil to do that. Still not using...
fracking, man. Fracking is when you're like, oh, I need, like when you're going through your couch cushions to find some fucking loose change.
Yeah.
It's the loose change of natural gas. Maybe those natural gas pockets are there to keep the plates from moving.
And maybe pulling that shit out of the earth isn't our best fucking thing that we could be doing for ourselves. Especially if we're trying to be around for a little bit longer.
Well, they're all about to die. The people who are in charge are going to die anyway, so they don't like they don't
give a fuck.
Right.
Yeah, they're fucking terrible.
It's our generation that's going to clean it up.
It's
definitely going to be.
I smoked a bunch of weed and watched a bunch of nature documentaries on Netflix. And at like the end of all of them, David Attenborough is like,
yeah,
by 2033. Scientists say the world will have flooded with water, and it's like we're all dead. And
Look at these beautiful
by
giraffes.
like 2030, like we're all gonna drown, or the air is gonna become unbreathable.
500,000 megatons of carbon dioxide was released into the atmosphere in June because of forest fires in the Arctic Circle.
In the Arctic Circle, there's forest fires right now.
Fuck?
There's shit. So what? Icebergs are catching on fire. Polar bears just spontaneously combusting. In
No,
the
just
fucking
imagine
Arctic
that.
No, the icebergs are gone, my man. Whatever's underneath the icebergs is burning.
Whatever's fucking... I think the scariest part about that whole thing about the climate change, especially in the Arctic, is the permafrost diseases that have been there for millions of years, and they're going to come out and just kind of spread. Zombies. Right. But like some fucked up shit that's like worse than the Black Plague, I'm sure.
Computers.
Is up
Sophia.
That's
Sophia the robot.
That's what happened in The Thing.
Yeah, some shit from The Thing is going to come and get us.
No, I was just going to bring this up. You just tweeted this about the fucking 41,000-year-old fucking worm or whatever the thing.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, dude, what was that about?
Yeah,
you
that
read
happened.
that shit? What happened there?
Oh, I just read the headline.
Oh, okay.
It was like,
that's
this
a real
sounds
thing
like
now.
what happened in The Thing. Yeah.
They got it out of the permafrost of the Arctic, and they warmed it up, and it's still alive. It's one of the oldest living organisms in the entire world I've ever recorded. It's crazy, but it came back alive.
It's a 400,000-year-old frozen worm.
Yeah, it was like 41,000 years old, and they thawed it out, and the shit's still alive. And it's like,
What the fuck?
What
That
is
shit's
this thing?
crazy. It's
right?
crazy.
And it's a worm, so you could cut it in half, and then now you got two things from 41,000 years ago. And now we're really fucked.
Hopefully it doesn't become sentient, take over our government.
Oh man, this fucking thing will want to vote.
Can you imagine though, like what it would be like for the entire atmosphere in our ecosystem to just change to become uninhabitable one day? You just go out
It's
to
fucking
hop in your
crazy.
car and suddenly
Max.
like you're like ow,
Well,
and
it's
the
happened
sun's
a bunch of
burning you
times.
literally, or
Well, it's happened a bunch of times, and all life dies, and then the Earth figures it out over the course of millions of years, and new life evolves and comes back.
This is
talking
what
about
Trump says.
human civilization.
This is what
you
Trump says.
fuckface.
No. It's not. I'm not trying to quote what Trump says. It's the end of us. We're all fucked. Trump's
Yeah.
saying, "We'll be good. We'll be fine. Everything's gonna be fine," because he's fucking 70 years old. He's gonna die tomorrow. So it doesn't.
We're speeding it up.
You ever think
Yeah.
about the volcanoes that we have that could destroy all of human
Those are
civilization?
crazy. Yellowstone.
Oh boy.
Cool.
Can you imagine if that actually went off? Like how fucking crazy the world would be fucked. The ash cloud would cover half the planet from what I've
But,
read.
and when that happens, then what happens?
Well, it's just gonna stay
Oh,
up there for quite some time. It's gonna blanket plains and all of our vegetation, all the ash. It's gonna be fucking awful. It's gonna change completely how life is on Earth.
I
Create
think
another ice age? They said.
Yeah. They said that when it initially explodes, I think all the way up into like us will die.
They
in
call
the
them continent
explosion.
killers.
Yeah.
Everything
Yeah.
North and
We're-
South America is gone if that thing goes off, and then
Yeah.
everything else is in an ice age for 10,000 years. is
Yeah,
what they
yeah.
said.
The smoke will take over or will fill the atmosphere, causing a global ice age.
It would change. It would block
would
out
all
the
die.
sun for like a month or longer, enough to like kill a
Long time.
shit ton of fucking vegetation.
long time.
It will be crazy. So like even scientists out there, and I read about this quite like 2 years ago or some shit, of these scientists are proposing deals to relieve the pressure underneath a Yellowstone volcano by digging holes and blowing holes to relieve the pressure off the side. But I don't. It's like some fucking movie. It's like a movie. It's like The Core.
Yeah, it's like
Or
the
something.
plot of the new Godzilla.
Yeah, it's the new Godzilla. It's how they get fucking Ronan to come out.
Well, like if you want to pop a zit, you don't like jab holes around it to release the pus, so it doesn't explode. If you try to jab that shit, it's gonna pop all over the place.
I like this guy's metaphors.
It's like a zit.
And Geoff Tate, this is why we got you on the podcast, because as a scientist and as the lead singer of Queensryche, we were
Yeah.
curious.
Oh, I know everything. Have you ever heard my album about the continent killers? It's 9 songs, 5 octaves,
Well, let's.
3 chords.
I like
Enjoy.
it. Yeah, nice.
I don't. I got my first 1-star Amazon review for not being the right Geoff Tate the other day.
Are
That
you
was pretty
serious?
Fun, yeah.
Somebody bought one of your CDs and thought that they were getting fucking Queensryche Geoff
Yeah.
Tate.
And then I made that 1-star review into a shirt.
What's it say?
The review said, "This is not the Geoff Tate from Queensryche. Queensryche is spelled wrong. Your ad," it said, "your ad should have made that clear. It wasn't an ad. It's like you're at the place on Amazon where you're buying it.
Yeah.
That's the kind of guy that buys porn.
There's a whole description. It tells
Right,
you
the
what it
thing
is.
is there. Like you don't go into Kroger and hold up a box of cereal and be like, this ad. Look at this ad for the cereal. It's the box. You're looking at the box. You saw an ad already. That's what brought you here.
Where can our fans get your merch? Is it justanotherclown.com?
Well, I don't have merch. I mean, I don't know what you mean by merch. Like,
You
I
just-
don't. That
you said you-
T-shirt, I just have a T-shirt.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, when are you gonna do a special that someone could like purchase?
He's got 4 of them. He
Well-
did one last year.
Check this out. I'm working on a new project.
Tell us all
Where-
about it. Reveal all of your secrets. Just to us friends.
Well, no, we'll just. You guys will be. This is the first. Well, who cares? It's I'm gonna release like most of my shows. Like I'm not gonna like Pearl Jam or the Grateful Dead. Like I think I've figured out that the way I like to do stand up the best, nothing ever feels done, and it kind of bums me out that I don't get to do, like I haven't done Dominoes in forever because it's old and that's not allowed.
Yeah.
But after the Domino's thing happened, then Domino's was like the first apology tour of a company being like, come on, sorry about that. BP did one. Wells Fargo did 2.
What happened with Domino's?
Facebook. Domino's just about 10 years ago just decided they started making commercials where they're like, sorry about, we hear you. This is not good pizza.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never heard of this.
He's got a 10-minute bit about it. This is what I was talking about at the beginning of the podcast or whatever.
I do. It's pretty long. It's pretty good. But I always wanted to do it with all these other things that were happening, and I couldn't because I was following the rules.
Who the fuck's telling you can't do that? Just do it.
No,
There
I
is
know,
no rules,
but it's
I
it's in my head. I know, but this was like the last one I broke down. Like I finally got rid of. I eliminated everything about my job that I don't like that I could eliminate, and that was pretty great.
So what do you mean you're releasing it? Are you just gonna are you gonna just do the
my
bit
label
again?
is I've been talking to the guy. The guy that released my last album. We're going to put everything onto just onto all the streamers, like onto Spotify and whatever, like what the Grateful Dead do. But because I like to do comedy the way the Grateful Dead does comedy. It's not my favorite band, but it is kind of how I do comedy. And now I can do all kinds of old bits. Ooh, the set lists are always going to be different and fun and new. But also, maybe I can't tell if people like it or not, or if people want to hear it again. I've asked a couple of people last week. There was a couple of times when I started a bit and I could see someone's face be like, oh, shit. I'm like, oh, wow, okay. Like, you never think about it like that. So now I'm just going to do that, and I'm going to make, they're all different. I never do anything the same way. From show to show, it's very, very rare that I get anything locked down into an actual where I've got it memorized.
So you're not gonna sell these CDs anymore or anything like that? Is that why they're not on Stanhope's website? Because I went to go when I was doing show prep. I was like, I know that it's on Stanhope's website because I go there and try to find merch. Went there and all your shit was gone. I was like, what happened?
Well, he was getting them from the first label I was on, and then that guy was being like a kind of a chud about selling them to the Stanhope store, and I was like, he wouldn't sell them to the Stanhope store for like he was selling them to me. He would sell them like he was selling them to a store. And it was like, no, don't, that's the only place where that's where my merch is. Don't fuck, why are you doing this? Why are you making him pay $8 a unit?
Right.
And so now it's just not really anywhere. I don't want CDs anymore. Who wants CDs anymore?
Who listens to CDs anymore?
It's just going to be.
I got
Dick.
the same 5 in my car, but you can only rotate them so many times.
I mean, you could burn it onto a CD if you want.
I feel like putting it on Spotify is such a smart move, though. I mean, that's how everybody's going to know what your stuff's all about. It's all about streaming nowadays. And now that some people can't sell enough CDs where they're starting Patreons. We've had bands come on the show where they talk about starting Patreons with their labels, so that way they can actually get make some money through their actual services and playing the songs.
All 4 of your albums are already streaming, though, because I looked them up, because I was like, where the fuck are these albums at then? Because I was like, I know I've listened to them.
But that isn't the concept of an album. I'm done making albums. That was the idea of write a new hour, get it good, and then record it, and then write a new hour, get it tight, and then record it. But now I'm not. Now I'm just gonna put bits and do everything and release it all. I don't see why not.
It sounds like if
that's awesome.
If that's how you want to fucking do it, man, why can't you do it that way?
Comedy trash.
You make most of the money at the shows too, don't you? Wouldn't you say just people coming out? So I mean, merch is kind of like a give or take kind of thing. You get it, and most people can wear it out, and it's like promotion and all that. But once they come to the show, that's where you're actually getting any money and actually enjoying.
I'll probably get some more merch. Plus, it just opens it up for if something gets nailed, if I nail something real good, real fucking topical, this guy will get it onto
viral or something.
You know what I liked was your "Make Geoff Tate Again" hat.
That was funny until it wasn't, and then it was real fast not funny anymore.
I thought it was hilarious.
It was. I had that. Somebody made me those. Somebody at a company. Then that person got fired, and then I got a bill.
You got a bill from the company?
Oh shit, dude! Is there fuck?
You had to pay it too?
Oh no, it was on it was on Facebook, so that's not real.
Oh, gotcha.
maybe I'm misremembering this, but at some point, did you have a podcast or an idea for a podcast where you were gonna do a podcast solely about Cheers? Was that
Oh
a
yeah,
thing?
I used to host a podcast called Cheers, Beers, and Seeger. Except it was never real. I just told people that, and I would ask people to do it, and they would say yes, and then I'd be like, I'll get back to you on a date. I thought it was real funny to pretend I had a podcast. I don't know why.
Do you think that's what was happening when I invited you to do this? Like, you
No.
just
Oh,
show
wait,
up
I
at
also had a
somebody's house?
podcast called Afternoon Everybody that was only about Cheers.
That's
that
what
one was real, yeah.
That's what I'm
Oh,
thinking.
wow, I
of.
went back too far.
Those guys come to Cincinnati sometimes. If you actually are into that show, it's very
Yeah.
interesting.
George Wendt shows up at the Oktoberfest just because he likes beer.
One of them goes to Horror Hound. I forgot what his fucking name, Ron, or one of the guys.
John
Not Woody
Ratzenberger.
Harrelson.
It was one of the guys that was on most of the episodes, but he talked to me for like a half hour.
Cliff.
Dude's Cliff. I think so. I think
Yeah.
that's who it was. But
Well, those
super
guys,
cool
both those guys, Cliff and Norm, were both in that movie House, that horror movie from like '87. It's got that weird, that's got like a ghoulish finger touching it. So they end up there. And Ratzenberger does a lot of voices. He's in every Pixar movie.
Yeah, he does. I think he's in every single one of them.
Pixar film?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
in every single one of them.
What?
Pixar.
Yeah.
Fat bankroll. You're in every Pixar movie.
And he was
Good
in
Lord.
The Empire Strikes Back.
Really? You know a lot about
What did he play?
Ratzenberger.
He was it's just a
He was Darth Vader.
yeah. Have you ever heard of Luke Skywalker?
Of course.
He was Luke Skywalker. No, he's somebody.
He was Darth Maul.
He walks up to he's like just like a rebel soldier guy, and he just walks up with like a clipboard, and I think he's the one that says we have to close the doors or whatever. It's at the beginning.
I had a couple questions.
Okay.
A couple questions about bits. I don't know if it's annoying to ask about previous bits, but fuck it, I'm just gonna ask you. I'm curious about how real some of the stories you're telling are. Like, are you just getting up there and like you found a way to tell this very real story in a comedic way, and you had to change a couple things? You just get up there with the story, and people happen to laugh at it. Like, for instance, the pretend taking acid and then fucking pretending like. No, like, you don't tell anybody that you're on acid, and then you show up at that fucking party or whatever and fight Chewbacca. Is all that, like, is that legit, or?
Yeah, I mean,
You fought Chewbacca?
I didn't
I'm
fight
unfamiliar with the
Chewbacca.
bit.
I tried to save Chewbacca. There was guys at the
That's what it
there
was.
was guys at the Halloween party dressed like stormtroopers and stuff, and I was on acid. And I tried to save Chewbacca. It's a real story. And it's going to be available on all the streamers someday. Several different versions, whatever I remember. But generally, I'll add, like, little details to it. Like, there's a
Adjectives.
part of it about trying to get to Burger King. And that was, like, a way to get into... It just worked better saying that it, like... for the story. Some things are just better where, like, I tried to tell the joke about how it was so confusing growing up because my dad was a minister and we were like Pentecostals.
Sounds intense.
It was. So they would tell me that, like, I saw Friday the 13th and I was having nightmares because it was scary, and they were like, oh, that's not real. But then whenever it was like a movie about demons, they were
That's
like, oh,
real.
that's real. That's like, when you watch you should watch The Exorcist. That's real. That's true.
They would really tell you that? Like, oh, this is
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is Chucky.
Both your parents, or was it
Demon
one that was
possessed.
more extreme than the other?
Well, there's always one that's more extreme than the other. It was my dad was more extreme, but who knows who knows if it was a fucking grift or not. But I know that, like, when I tell that, like, the first way I told that was, like, true, but to say that, like, they said no to Friday the 13th because it was fake, but yes to The Exorcist because it was real, is like a cleaner way to get the point across, even though that's not exactly what happened.
Okay.
It's like the details are all there and real.
I understand.
And then I'm like, there's like a lot of stuff. Like, I tried to save Chewbacca. I don't know if I really, I don't know if I put a hurt into any of them.
Did you really grab the blaster though and think that it was fire? Because I've never been on.
No,
fucking...
of course I didn't think it was a real gun.
Okay.
But I thought it was a real Chewbacca. Like, I wasn't trying to.
The gun would.
Well,
be
no,
silly,
like it didn't
dude.
even matter that it. Like I wasn't trying to shoot them. That's what it was. Was like.
Just trying to get Chewbacca away.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't gonna kill anybody unless I had to.
Well, that's what the Wookiee would do.
Yeah. And I figured, a little bit. I caught on a little faster in real life than I do in the story, because pretty much once Chewbacca's like, "Hey, wait a second," you're like, "Oh, you can talk." then it stops being as real. You're like, it starts to make a little more sense. So yeah, it wasn't as full of a fight,
Right.
as it comes off. It's just, it kind of built to that. And there was some things get exaggerated because they open doors to other things that don't have a home yet. Like I had a story that I buried in that story about trying to get ice cream from an ice cream truck and not being able to accomplish that task the first time around or the second time around. And it wasn't until a week later that I was able to that I figured out how to get something.
Like make him stop?
No, there was school age kids would go, 10-year-olds would go get ice cream, and I would go get ice cream, but I couldn't. Like when I was on acid, I wasn't, a strong reader.
That's why they get the pictures, man. You point to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle with the
when I
bubblegum eyes.
When I realized my mistake and I got back in line. Well, the first time through, I hadn't even decided. I was just thinking about ice cream. Then I went to the back of the line again, and then I pointed, and I couldn't, and he couldn't figure out what, and it was taking too long. So I panicked and just left and didn't get any ice cream. And then the next time, when I heard it, I wrote down onto a $1 bill. I wrote down push-up popsicle, and then I handed that to the guy. So I didn't have to say it. I learned.
Was it a success that time? You actually read
Sounds
the
like a
$1 bill, or did it take some real
it
pointing
was.
and
He was like,
maneuvering?
I had to give him more money. $1 wasn't enough.
Bribe him for the push pop.
I think it was probably $1.50 for the push pop, and he was just like, "Yeah, okay, but 50 more cents." And I was like, we're further along into the transaction than last week.
The reason I had to ask you about it is because it's you have other ones I'm gonna fucking sidetrack if I say the other one, but I've never just been on psychedelics to that point before, where I'm just I think that's probably Chewbacca, and I gotta save Chewbacca right now, or those Oompa Loompas real, because that's part of it. The Oompa Loompas walk in front of you, and you're talking about I want to ask him so badly if it's real, because if it is, I'm cool, but if not, I gotta go to the doctor.
That part of the story is pretty true. There was so many costumes, and I did not know there was going to be any costumes. I wasn't expecting any costumes.
You were just expecting a party, right?
Yeah. I wasn't expecting it to be a town-sanctioned fucking Mardi Gras or whatever, some Halloween Mardi Gras. I just thought we were going to some friend, his friends were having a party, and I didn't have anything to do. But oh boy, it was a lot more intense. Immediately, I mean, I figured it out. Probably a little more.
Once he started speaking English.
Yeah, I mean, I knew the thing about the Star Wars thing was they were wearing the real costumes, not the ones you rent.
They weren't cheap.
They weren't cheap. They looked real, and there's a part of me that just wants that to be real.
Well, weren't you worried that you were going to get shot? I mean, you were tripping on acid and you thought it was real enough. I'd be pretty... I mean, they always miss. The stormtroopers, don't they?
I mean, honestly, I wasn't thinking about consequences at all. I was thinking, I did go to that party because I got fired.
That was
That
the
part
other
was
thing that I was
true
going to
also.
detract to. Where you fucking... Can you tell that part? I'd hate to ask you to do a bit, but that part is so fucking good. The beginning of it.
Well, what happened there was I wanted to go to this party, so I got my shift covered, and there was somebody, I was working a double, and I got somebody from the first shift to stay and work my dinner shift, and then 2 people for the dinner shift just didn't show up at all, and the manager was like, "No, you can't. You gotta." I was like, "Ben's working for me," and he's like, "No, if Ben can work tonight, then he's got to work. These 2 other people just aren't coming in." And I was like, no, I got, like, we already signed the thing that got signed by the first shift man. Like, and he was like, no, you got to get these other shifts covered. And I was like, why do I have to cover 3 shifts? What the fuck are you talking about? Like, and then he was like getting real, like, oh, if you don't like it, whatever. And like, I got like hot. And then one of the cooks pulled me away and was like, calm down, calm down. And then I went out to the front to find out where my section was. And this fucking guy followed me out there and kept being a goddamn manager. Like, it's not enough that you do it. It's like you have to fucking bow down. And he was like, I meant what I said back there. And I was like, I did too, Brian. What the fuck? And he goes, you can't talk like that out here. And I was like, fuck you, man. And then he goes, you're fired. And then I took my shirt off. And I started yelling more, like, fuck you, man. Fucking asshole. And then he got I got my job back like a month later because he got transferred somewhere else. And everybody that worked at Ava was like, yeah, that guy was a fucking maniac.
But is the part about, like, after you call him a fucking asshole and then you're like, I get fired, and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to pull up a fucking bar stool, and now I'm a customer. And the customers are always right.
Oh,
so
yeah, yeah. No, that part's not real.
Okay. Fuck.
The real part is...
Don't ruin the magic, Cody.
I'm ruining
job,
magic.
Cody.
I'm sorry.
The real part there was one of the other places I got fired from. When I got fired, I did just go to the bar and start drinking. And they were like, you can't drink till an hour after your shift. And I was like, shift? What are you talking about? I don't work here.
Did they serve you too and everything?
Yeah, the bartenders did. The bartenders don't give a shit.
Just get wildly blackout drunk and fucking try to get kicked out. That's what I would have done if I was pissed off and just got fired.
Well,
That's what you would have done if you were trying to have a calm Wednesday night. Fucking degenerate.
The man has a point.
tomorrow's Wednesday. What are you getting kicked out of tomorrow?
Probably my house.
Oh, don't. Dave and Buster's. Is it really your house? Is that possible? The way he reacted made it seem like
It's
a
real.
little more true than...
Well, I live with my grandpa, so it's definitely possible I get blackout drunk at grandfather's house. He's ready to kick me on my head to the curb. But
Sure, Grandpa.
Yeah.
what? What's the joke?
I don't know.
Nothing.
Nothing.
I mean, I don't know your grandpa or him really, so I don't get it.
Oh,
no, we do.
the joke is that I'm an alcoholic degenerate.
I don't think that's the joke he made.
It's not.
It is the joke.
Let's
though.
move on.
No, that was the whole bit. This whole bit is based on how you're a degenerate, but that specific joke had
Okay.
something to do with
This whole episode was actually an intervention for Cody.
Like every episode.
That happened to me at work the other day. So
right? Are you sure you don't just live in a haunted house?
Yes, grandfather.
Does your grandpa rattle chains when he walks up and down the hall every night?
I wish he did. That'd be a way better roommate situation. No, he just can't hear. That's all he does.
That sounds perfect.
It's great, yeah.
That's the best roommate to have.
Just
Or
screaming.
smell.
And he can't smell either?
Oh yeah, it's hard for him to smell. So you just smoke the weed in the basement, but I blow it through the dryer sheets and the fucking toilet paper roll like
That's
I'm
his trick.
16. You know what I'm talking about, Geoff Tate.
I
No,
know,
I'd
what,
never
I
heard of
know
that
what you're
until I met
talking
him.
about, but I can't believe you still do that.
Yeah.
What's he gonna do, man?
Loser. What do you?
Nothing. He's not gonna do anything.
Do you think he'd kick you out for smoking weed?
Yeah. He's 89 years old. For sure, he's not pro weed.
Yeah, but is he pro kicking you out? He probably needs someone around to make sure he's not on the toilet too long.
Bro, that's the thing. He goes
That's
out.
the thing with Cody.
No, that's me. He's there so that I'm not on the shitter too long, shitting blood and whatnot. But no, he goes out and takes care of everything. Like he fucking drives to Ross every day and shit, and fucking mows a whole ass like acre worth of property.
What a fucking
his
man.
grandpa is the reason there's like backups in traffic and whatnot.
Why does he mow grass in Ross? Is that his job?
No, he's got a big property that he owns out there. And when he was like 83, bought himself a bobcat. Was like, I think my family needs a pond on this big piece of land that I've owned for forever. Dug himself a pond. Like had me and my cousin up there to fucking dig it out. And then he was like, you guys suck at this. Go home. And then he just finished it himself and fucking maintains the property. And none of my piece of shit, including me piece of shit family, fucking goes out and goes and fish. And he stocks it full of fish and stuff and cuts the grass every day. And all of us
Is
are
there
like, we got
shade?
PS4. Why the fuck are we gonna go up there and catch fish in the hot
How
sun?
does he stock with fish? Like he orders
buy-
the fish
yeah, you
online
order-
and they just come in like a
Not
bucket?
online. He's 89.
They drop
doesn't know
him out of a
fucking internet.
helicopter.
I don't know what how do you fucking order fish?
They drop them from a helicopter.
Over the phone.
From
Yeah.
a plane.
Yeah.
You know, phones
I've
still
seen
work, right? You don't need the internet to do
Deliver
everything.
via stork.
I've just never heard. I'm just
He
curious how an 86
he
year old
does it by mail. It's like he probably gets them out of a catalog.
He did.
But what kind of
He's a QVC
is there
legend.
trees? Is there shade?
Fuck
Is it
yeah.
like when you say property? When you say mow?
I'm talking a lot of mowing.
No, I know, but is it just like a big mowed field with a pond in it, or is there like
a
woods and
prairie.
stuff?
There's woods that you have to drive up to get to it, like gravel paths, and then there's big trees around the pond that he put so you could sit in the shade and shit, and big fire pit areas. And I helped him build a big barn shed thing to put his tractor in.
Then I don't understand what the problem is. There should be a lot more of your shenanigans should happen there.
Yeah, well,
You can't get kicked out of every bar on the west side. Go to this fucking.
Go to the property. Go to the
Yeah,
barn.
you got a pond.
No, I
we
don't
should
go to
all
the-
go to the pond.
I don't go to
Stock
the bar. I get
fresh
yelled
with
at every time I
fish.
leave the house by my girlfriend. Don't
Let's
leave
go
the house.
eat the fish.
But
Yeah,
if you
I want
go,
the
but if
fish.
you leave the house to go to your grandpa's pond, who's gonna yell at you?
You're right. I'll just get praise, and I can
Right.
get as drunk as I want. Nobody will know.
Yeah.
Ain't there for
He'll
the
be
And the
night.
happy.
fish.
He'll be thrilled. Like he'll be fucking thrilled you're doing it. Then guess who's not getting kicked out? You. Guy dug a whole fucking pond so you would have something to do. And you're downstairs fucking blowing weed through a dryer vent. Man, go to the pond and smoke weed like a grown up. You are not in high school anymore. Let's go to Ross and smoke weed
Isn't that
under
only
some
like 25
trees.
minutes from you too?
Yeah, it's not that far. I mean, it's real drivable distance. He goes up there almost every day.
What wasted
Goes and walks
opportunity?
and shit.
Man, you're just sounding lazier and lazier about it.
No, I mean
I
it
also
is
work a
hard.
lot and deal with a 3-year-old and a pregnant girlfriend, so it's a lot harder than just going to the property
Just
smoking
build-
pot.
Well, that's
it's a lot
true.
easier to sit in a
Build a
basement,
cabin.
smoking
Yeah, I
weed
was
as fast
just
as
gonna
possible
say.
Trailer
instead
out
of getting
there.
angry with everything going on and whatnot. But I hear what you're saying. If my life was a little bit more frugal and loose, yeah, right to the pond I'd go.
No, you gave her seed.
Nailed it.
You gave her land. Now you just need to give her a house.
Pat just picked that
Build
up with
it.
his toes. I watched him do it.
They're clean, bud.
According to this guy, you could just get all the pieces delivered right to that land.
Yeah.
And you could build a house around her.
Dude, build a
There
tiny
are
house.
portable houses. I swear to God.
Dude, build a tiny house for less than like $15,000 and you get
Yeah.
a shit ton of room.
My
They
goddamn
they
cook,
gotta
you think
be-
I got $10,000 just laying
cheaper than
around
buying a
willy
house.
nilly?
I also have less than $15,000. I mean,
Pull your
I got
money
like
together.
$300. That's less than $1,500.
Yeah, same here.
$15,000. But I mean, if you just like, it seems like there's a lot of chaos. Like the way you describe it, it feels like there's a lot of chaos, like a lot of work. You're going to work all the time, and then there's a lot of chaos.
Yeah, a little bit.
And I bet you, I mean, some of that chaos is inevitable, and some of that chaos is an extension of the first chaos, making it seem like all chaos is inevitable. And if you look at it, I bet you could eliminate enough things to where you can find some time to go relax.
Fair enough. Luke, can I hit that
Not
pin
fair
so that I can
enough.
be
Like
on
it's
this
not.
level?
I'm not trying to. Like I'm not preaching. I'm just trying to say that
You
there's
just
I'm
said
just
you
trying to
some
hear
cold
no,
wise
facts.
advice.
No, I'm smoking a weed so that
a
now
lot
I
of
understand.
a lot of
That's not. What
Well,
that
you know,
is.
when you have, there are people who are, well, of course, everybody knows this, but like depression is the thing that happens in your brain, and it's not to be taken lightly or whatever. It seems so like it's real, and so there's all these things that happen chemically that you don't have any control over.
Right.
But there's also things that you do have some control over, and I know a lot of people that because of this part, they like lean into this part because they think there's nothing they can do, and so like if you just sit in the fucking dark and chain smoke all day, and they'll be like, I'm depressed. Well, I fucking wonder why. Open a window, take a walk. You'll still be depressed, but you'll be a little less depressed.
That's what I tell my mom, because she's got manic depression, and she always gets down on herself and has that exact same situation with anxiety just fucking killing her every single day. And I just say, just take a fucking lap around the apartment, take a lap down the street. Seriously, you'll feel a whole lot better when you're fucking moving. If you're sitting around all day and you're not, like, let's say, even making your bed or even just moving a little bit, you're not going to feel any bit better at all. You're just going to feel guilty all day not doing shit.
I got a list of shit to do that I keep in my wallet, and I try to cross a few things off those lists, like, every day.
It distracts you. People need to have a purpose, even if it's something as walking around as simple as, like, making their bed in the morning or just doing the dishes or just doing something simple. Once a day, they should be able to do something.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
that's what they do. That's what depression honestly fucks you with, though.
Here
Makes you feel
comes the
useless.
zinger.
All right, look, Cody, come on. Let's hear your bullshit. Let's go.
I hear what you're saying, but I'm not depressed. I'm pretty happy. I have a good
Oh,
life.
No. We're talking.
Leaning
We're
into
We weren't
the
talking about
darkness.
you.
We're not talking about you
Do you
being
God,
depressed.
making everything about you, Cody.
Okay, that's
Because
fair.
he's trying to lie to himself.
I'm talking about.
Intervention.
I was talking about me.
Okay.
Like, I take medicine. I see a therapist, but there was also a bunch of stuff I was doing that I didn't have to do, and a bunch of stuff I wasn't doing that I should have been doing. Like, there's the inevitable part, the chemical part, the part that's like, oh, my brain is fucked up. But then there's the extensions of that where you're like, just like kind of wallow. Don't even try. Like, I tried, and it was hard. For a few years, it was hard to try. All the time, every day. But it gets easier, like everything else, and then you get to where you remove the stuff you don't like. I got a pretty good everything. I don't have everything I ever wanted, but when I don't have to do a lot of stuff I hate.
Right.
Right? I don't have to, like, I got rid of it in my job. I got rid of it in my life.
So that's where I asked you the question before, but I think now I kind of understand it a lot better about the cutting out the, like, drinking and doing most drugs and stuff
Drinking
like that.
is fun for maybe an hour. There's the first hour of that. There's always that pressure of trying to get a little drunk, and then there's that everything after that hour where it's just sloppier and more desperate.
Or you just pass out.
Luke's shaking
Yeah.
his head right now like he's done too many drunken, sloppy podcasts with me.
It's not fun. It's not.
No, I'm
the
looking at you.
consequences are brutal. Like, you got, like,
It fucks with your family. It fucks with your health. Your whole day is fucked. You just waste your money, and you're just getting weak.
yeah,
Dude,
you don't.
my daughter talked shit on me for the time that she saw me the drunkest I've been around her. She brings that shit up all the fucking time.
What do you mean? Like,
I
she'll
was
just say
at my
shit?
aunt's house for her going away party because she was moving to Florida, and she had margaritas on tap. And I'm just,
Damn.
I got the
How could you
solo
say
cup.
no?
I got the solo cup, and I'm filling it full every time for like 7 times, not thinking about like what a margarita is or how strong my aunt makes it. And I fucking did that shit, and then on the way home, I don't like really remember going home. But,
Teleporting.
apparently I made a fool of myself, and then like came home and got out of the car and just threw up hella in the street, and then kept walking inside, and like my daughter saw all that shit, and she's like, Daddy, I see that beer. She's like, you can't drink that. I remember what happened the one time.
Oh, man.
Just stares
I'm
at you
just
Pure
unblinking.
Right, I
guilt
was just
every
like,
sip.
"Ugh."
You just gave her a real memory.
Right.
I mean, I
I got
my
worse. I got way worse myself.
But is there any
That's nothing.
like, what do you lose if you stop drinking?
That's true.
Nothing. You don't lose anything.
Except more.
You have more
poison.
money.
There's nothing to gain.
You know how you went and saw Zodiac because you got to kill a whole fucking afternoon? Sometimes you got to kill a whole night. I'm just like, well, I got to end this somehow without just sitting here staring at the fucking
I don't
wall
think
of the
that's
TV.
no.
No.
Cody.
The alcohol allows me to have fun when there's no fun
I
happening.
don't
But
know.
fun isn't
I don't
cleaning
know.
No,
up
that's
the.
not true.
clean-
That's not true. Alcohol allows you to have alcohol when there's no fun happening. It's like cigarettes gives you the illusion of something to do. You're still not doing anything. You're just smoking a cigarette.
You're just
Right, but if
dying.
you're enjoying it and you think you're doing something.
but you don't.
What,
but you
what
don't
are you
enjoy
gelling
it.
it?
I do, though. I'm telling you. I
No,
enjoy
it's
it.
not-
I like
do
it.
you?
It's disgusting. You've convinced yourself.
You're right.
I smoked for a long time. You
You're
just
so
convince
fucking
yourself that
gross.
it's good. Like the I can't believe it when I'm around it now. I can't believe I smoked.
No, I agree with you, but I
Listen
still
to the
enjoy
wise Geoff Tate, Cody.
No, but I read the book, man. The book makes it easy, man.
You need to read the book.
The easy way to quit smoking. It's perfect.
Is that the book?
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Who's it by?
Alan Carr.
Now, do they have a graphic novel version? Something I can pictures and I can look at, because I get real distracted when I'm reading. I'm being serious. Do they have an audiobook of it? I'm not trying to be a dick about this, but really I get distracted.
They do have an audiobook, yeah, but you think you're going to be... An audiobook means that it can keep going while you're distracted. So you're going to get even less out of it.
That's true,
Just
but I'll
read
get
it,
less
Cody.
out of it if I start opening the book and just start falling asleep.
No. Read the book.
Just
Don't
read it,
get in
Cody.
bed. Don't get in bed and read the book. Don't sit at a chair. Like, tell yourself, read one chapter a day. It's like 4 pages.
Right.
Come on, you can fucking get your
Fucking
own
do it,
shoes on.
Cody.
You got from wherever you live to here. You could read 4 pages a day.
You need pictures in
But-
4 pages?
Yeah, don't be a bitch.
But
you
the
don't-
pictures they would show you are the gross ones, man. And he explains in the book why that's dumb. Like, those pictures of like black lungs and stuff. You're like, all right, well, it's
You
too
have
late.
them.
Like it brings up your anxiety, which makes you immediately want to smoke.
Right.
And so when you go smoke, all you're doing is eliminating wanting to go smoke.
That's it.
You're not
Nothing
eliminating
else
actual
happens.
anxiety in
Like-
your life. I understand this.
No,
I've
I
read-
know. But
No, you
then
don't.
the book like goes over this and like it's like it's like 4 chapters over and over in different ways. It doesn't seem redundant until it's over, and then you're like, damn, this guy just convinced me that it's like you know how you're thinking about smoking a cigarette right now?
Totally. I'm just like, I'm gonna take a pause so I can
Yeah.
Drooling at the
conversation
mouth.
is making
I
my
smoked
lungs
for
hungry.
20 years, and I don't think about it. I'm not thinking. I'm not even thinking. Oh man, I don't get to smoke a cigarette now. I don't even think I quit smoking. I don't smoke.
Right.
Like the book somehow convinced me that I don't, and I knew it was doing it too. Like while you're reading, you're like, he's brainwashing me. But if you want to quit smoking, I mean, you brainwashed yourself into thinking it was good.
Yeah. Why can't you make it's redundant to smoke the cigarette? Why can't you just make it a habit?
Plus, I
to
just
read
smoke
a
weed
book?
all the time. So if I really need to scratch that itch, I'll just roll a joint.
I hear you.
I'm 2
Educate
years
yourself.
next week. I smoked for
Dude,
13
that's fucking
years.
awesome.
I smoked
Congrats.
the
for
first
13
cigarette I
years.
ever smoked was Sean.
Yeah,
gave me a
I
cigarette when I
I
was
peer
16.
pressured him into his first cigarette when we were like
Damn.
16.
What a
We're
sick
kids.
fuck.
Yeah,
He was like, I was like, I'm having trouble with
like
women.
this Marlboro
just every
Smooth
normal
tastes
kid.
like fucking mint, dude.
You're having
16.
trouble with women? Here's
Just
this
any
cigarette.
teenager.
You'll get
Sean was like,
all
girls
of the
won't like it unless you
blowjobs.
smoke, and then you find out when you get older, no, they fucking hate cigarettes. It makes you smell bad, and they don't like that. And I'm like, oh, well, this didn't work, but now I got this thing that I'm doing.
I got the
man.
habit out of it.
Yeah.
Also, you guys are way younger.
Jeff, how did you start smoking?
I mean, the same way he did,
Someone
but
peer
with a
pressured
different
you?
person. No, I mean, I don't think. I mean, honestly, I don't remember. I don't remember the first time I smoked cigarettes. I was like 16 or 17. They
Yeah,
were
I hear you.
around. People had them. People were smoking fucking Swisher Sweets. It was easy to get them. They were $1.15. I got into it when I worked at Kings Island, because you could take a break if you smoked cigarettes.
And you
Yeah.
couldn't if you didn't, because you can't just fucking stand
Yeah,
there.
you
and
can't be
stare
like,
at-
I'm gonna go stand by the trash for 7 minutes. Everyone would be like, what the fuck? Why the fuck would you do that? But I'm gonna go smoke, and then you just go stand by the trash for 7 minutes. Everyone go, oh yeah, okay. And so everybody smoked, and so I smoked, and that was dumb. And then I did it to be cool. It looks pretty cool.
It does look super cool. I
Right.
mean,
Dude, your
say
cool
what you
points,
want about it
Man,
not
10
being
you're
plus.
cool.
so fucking whack.
wrong.
So fucking cool.
I
Probably
mean, not
the coolest in the
anymore,
room.
but they used to. In the 90s, man, girls did like it when you smoked.
Yeah.
You got fed a pack of lies about those 2000s girls.
A pack a day.
No, there was those girls were an option that loved smoking, but it was like, nah, I'd rather just still stay a virgin. Like, I don't want to.
Oof.
Not that one. Ugh.
Oh boy, I can't imagine wanting to still stay a virgin because someone smoked the same as me.
Oh no! That's not the. I'm saying that the girls that were into smoking were of a certain.
They
type
scared
of-
you.
Yeah, that's what it was. I was afraid of all the cigarette burns and whatnot. No,
They just seemed tougher.
Huh?
Then why'd you
Probably.
fuck that girl that did meth?
Yeah.
No, she did
What
heroin,
the fuck,
not meth.
Cody?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Heroin.
Yeah.
All right.
That's the opposite direction, my man.
Yeah.
Everything everything about that meth being the punchline is the opposite. So now it doesn't make any sense. Of course he fucked a girl on heroin.
Yeah. I'm a respectable gentleman. I can't hold my piss anymore. I'll be right back.
Well, let's do a quick break real
He's
quick.
gonna smoke.
And we're going to come right back, finish this up. Let's go.
Oh.
All right, guys, we're back. Really quickly before we jump back into it with Geoff Tate, we've got a sponsorship that I'd like to read to you. That's Kneel to No One, Anthony Tank Mansfield, KTNO or KNEELTONOONE.com if you want to buy any of his shirts, his enamel pins, his art. I think he said after the summertime he'll be back to doing commissions. You'll want to look at his social media and keep up with that to find out about all that good shit and whatnot. But he makes these awesome glasses that we're drinking out of. He's got these 16-ounce Samurai Sifter glasses, Kneel to No One printed on one side. On the back, there's the Samurai, little swords and shit, the Hop Thulu glasses. He's got a lot of great shit that you can check out. So please go and visit his website. Buy his stuff. All right, I also wanted to plug Jeff's albums while he's here. He's got 4 of them that when I was trying to find your shit, it was only on Spotify, it looked like. Did you have any other place that you can really get it right now or that you know of?
I mean, it's on Apple Music, I guess.
Right on.
And Pandora, they got them.
You've got I Got Potential,
Yeah.
Just Another Clown, Again, and People Are What People Make Them. And these are all in the last 4 or 5 years or whatever, so it's very recent material. It's all good shit. I've listened to all the albums myself.
Oh, thank you.
I think 3 of them, 2 or 3 of them, something like that. But they're really quality. And if you've never checked out Jeff's shows before, he's always doing something at Go Bananas or something local that you can check out. Follow him online and make sure that you fucking get out and like actually support the dude and support the other comedians that we're having on and whatnot. All right. We're too much plugging. Let's go into something else now.
I have a podcast with my brother called Altered Tates.
Yeah,
What's
I've
that
listened
about?
to that.
It's just us fucking around. It's this, but with me and my brother.
That's awesome. Where can you
It's
get
my
that on
brother
everything?
and me. It's the one it's just my brother and me. It's not my brother and me.
It's on Podcast Addict is where I was listening to it.
Okay, so like iTunes,
iTunes
Spotify.
has it. SoundCloud is where I put them.
So you've been on like a bunch of different podcasts. Like with all the podcasts that you've ever been a guest on, who what would you say was like the most memorable or the most fun one that you've done?
Yeah, fucking right. No, but seriously.
I mean, I don't want to. I'll end up leaving someone out always, but I got to like doing Doug Loves Movies so many times is like I got to meet so many people like Patton Oswalt and
So
Dana
crazy.
Dude, I
Gould
fucking
and
love him.
My favorite comedian right there,
um,
without question.
Patton Oswalt,
You have
Yeah.
so
man,
many
like-
celebrities on that show. It's crazy. That's why it blew my mind. when I
John
found
Hamm.
out.
I'm kind of pals with John Hamm. Like we would see each other, say hello. If I don't have to go, I'm Jeff now.
You don't have to
Remember?
reintroduce yourself
Yeah,
every time.
we're past the point where he goes, "Oh yeah, what's up, man?" Like hugs. Oh
Right.
man,
That's super cool.
I can't believe it. It's insane. I met Dave Foley. Fuck.
Who was like the guest that you were like the most excited for?
Now that I don't know about that. I don't know that there's ones that I'm like it changes over time. Like a few years ago it would be about somebody who I like really wanted to meet or whatever. I'm like real excited I get to meet. And now I mean I got to do my brother was on one. So that was probably the best. That was the most fun. Like my brother was on an episode of Doug Loves Movies.
Which one is that? Where can they find that shit?
that? Was in Lexington a few months ago.
What's your brother's name? Is he doing comedy? Is that like his
No,
gig
he
too?
just does that podcast with me, and he likes Doug Loves Movies and listens to it all the time, and he's fucking hilarious. So Doug put him like we got to do an episode together. It was really fun. It was, I mean, that's crazy.
That is pretty crazy.
That's crazier than being on with Patton Oswalt.
Yeah, I would definitely, especially your family just being involved in something that you're so
Yeah,
passionate about. That's so
I mean,
cool.
we're at least me and Patton Oswalt are both comedians in the same city. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's like it would be when we did it. We were in. You know what I mean? He's not even a comedian. Like they don't have a lot of. You know.
Did they just have him on because you're cool? And they're like, if he says his brother's cool, let's just fucking have him on.
Well, no, I mean, it was choice. Like it was after we had been doing our podcast for about a year, like, so it made a little bit more sense. He was like aware. We've done a bunch of them live, so he doesn't panic in front of an audience like most people would if they're not actually a comedian.
Right.
He's used to it, and so he was good on it.
Is doing those live podcasts a very different vibe to? Well, I mean, I'm asking a professional stand-up comedian. Is it very different? I guess if it would just be me walking out trying to do a fucking live.
Yeah, the shit at
podcast.
Bogart's was like interesting because I was like super interactive. Like it's just like a big room full of people.
Like everybody's
Seeing
hanging out.
Podcast live would be so interesting to me. I think last podcast on the left actually just did a recent event live podcast, and it's just so crazy to me that you can just gather all the material and just do it all live.
I think Dan Cummins is either already passed or it's right before this episode's gonna come out or some shit. But he's doing that Time Suck live podcast or whatever the fuck that I'd missed. But I think he's doing it up at Go Bananas or whatever.
Well, I haven't heard that, so it's probably not Go Bananas. I know he's coming to the Helium in Indianapolis and later on, and I think he just did the Funny Bone.
It might have been the Funny Bone that I'm thinking.
But I don't know that he did. Did he do his podcast there? I think he did. Oh, he did it, but like after.
So like he did stand up and then like it's like he sets up and does the podcast
I don't remember.
sort of deal.
I wasn't there. I don't know. I mean, when Doug does it, it's more like going to see like a game show. Like if it's like
see Jeopardy live.
Yeah, I mean, you got to kind of treat it like that. Like, I mean, the big thing is to like you just got to do it enough times to where you don't feel stupid doing it.
Right.
And that's all it is. You're just it's just self-conscious. But if you just think about it, like when we would do our live podcast, we would like like we had it scheduled. We had guests. Like we knew what was happening with each segment. It was a little bit more not rehearsed, but at least there was an outline of what was going to happen. We would treat it like a television show, like a show. And it was that's just how you do it. You gotta not think it's dumb to do it at the Aronoff.
Yeah, that's crazy.
My favorite murder. Is that what's called? My favorite murder.
I think that's the podcast.
They did it at the Aronoff. That's fucking 2,500 people.
For a podcast, you just have
they sold out two shows. Two shows at one night.
Good. The last podcast on the left, tickets were at minimum $65. Like people, they make bank at this shit. Like it's crazy that people go and see these live podcasts. It's so nuts.
God, I hope someday I get to just be stinking lazy off a podcast money like that.
I don't think that I don't know that they're lazy. They're probably putting in some fucking work and doing a lot of travel.
That's a full-time job, man.
Like,
that's running a business, I would say. Definitely running a business. I'm
If
sure
they
like Doug loves
fucking
movies.
know that. I meant like losing the monotonous 9 to 5. You
So
know
when you're
what I mean?
like doing like Doug loves movies, like how do you guys prepare for an episode? I'm just so curious.
Oh, I don't do anything.
You just come in and they just talk about whatever.
Doug makes up all the games and stuff. Like the questions, there's like one half. The first half is not games, and the second half is games. And the first half, the questions are always going to be the same. What did you bring for the prize bag? And what was the last movie you saw? So I just remember the last movie I saw or know which movie I want to talk about.
right.
And that's all I have to know.
Do you come in there like
easy.
set up with like the movie that you already know everything of? You know the whole fucking cast of characters and.
No. I mean that part doesn't come up. Like if I just want to talk, if I just saw something real dope, but then I happen to see something fucking shitty between then and when I do the show, when he goes, "What was the last movie you saw?" I just pretend I didn't see that fucking real shitty one.
Yeah, I hear that.
Right, and then you go, "Oh, I watched Near Dark." That was a dope vampire movie.
Near Dark.
From the 80s. It was directed by Catherine Bigelow. And it has a lot of the same people in it that was in the movie Aliens.
Ooh.
Michael Biehn, is
Bill
he
Paxton?
in it?
Michael Biehn said no, but Bill Paxton's in it. Lance Henriksen is in it. I can't remember.
Bill fucking Paxton.
He was a vampire?
Yeah, Bill Paxton was a
Paxton was a
vampire.
vampire?
Bill fucking Paxton.
Yeah. There was when she was casting her movie, she was her and James Cameron were like married, and James Cameron was like, "Oh, these guys are cool. You should put." So it's like a bunch. Like those are the only two names I remember, but like there's like two women that were in Aliens that are in that. Not Sigourney Weaver, but two others.
Here's a dumb 80s movie question that I bet you'd know. What's the first movie that Bill Paxton was in, like, credited for and shit? Speaking role.
Terminator.
It's Terminator 1. He's one of the punk rock kids that when Arnold shows up or whatever and looks over the whole valley, then he comes up on those punk rock kids that are playing with the telescope or whatever. Bill Paxton.
when did
he had like blue hair?
Yeah. He's
When
the
did
one that
Terminator come out? What date?
81.
Dude, there's a new
81,
one coming out that James
That new
Cameron.
one looks
Might have been 84.
No,
It's
I
pretty
know,
good.
but I gotta find out what year. I gotta find out the day Terminator was released.
That new one's about to be.
It might have been
ass.
84.
You think it's gonna be bad because what they're doing with the new one is that they're like it's a continuation from Terminator 2 Judgment Day. They're canceling out the other 3 Terminators completely.
Oh, okay. Then,
So
then I'll watch it.
Are we
like
finally
so-
gonna find out what happened to that redheaded kid that Furlong was friends with? So the Terminator was released on October 26, 1984.
God, you're a fucking idiot.
No, I said 81 or 84.
No,
I was like,
but,
fuck, man, it's one of the two.
Just because this movie is dope, I'm gonna do this part.
I think T2 is 91. That's why I got that confused. The ones.
God, you're so fucking. What are you
Such
saying?
an idiot.
He's talking shit to me.
All right, now June 1st, 1984, which we'll all agree. How is Bill Paxton was in Streets of Fire, and that came out 4 months before the Terminator.
Oh, so I'm wrong about the first movie.
What
that
was
he
No,
his
but
biggest movie though?
I remember
you
hearing
are.
that.
You're probably right. I thought that was his first role that he
No,
had.
but like I remember hearing that the first role was Terminator, but I just watched Streets of Fire with my friend Trey. Hadn't seen it, but have you seen Streets of Fire?
I've never even
I don't
heard
know
of it
anything
or
about
Near
it.
Dark. I've never heard of either of these.
Well, I'm very old, but I heard it. I found out about
Very
these
wise.
movies in the last 1 year. So good luck, everybody. Bill Paxton's biggest movie, Twister,
Twister for sure.
Yeah.
because that one gets credit as being, you would think of it as a Bill Paxton movie.
That movie scared the shit out of me as a kid.
I'm terrified
Me
of it.
too.
It scared the
Tornado.
fuck
Scared
out
as
of
fuck.
me.
Tornadoes,
I
but
saw
not
the
'cause of-
ride at Universal Studios, and they had their shit blowing through, and they were on the big flashing lights. I was super young, but I was like, "Is this real?" And my mom was fucking with me, and she was like, "Yeah, it's all real." Like,
Dude, I was in like sixth grade. They explained to me how tornadoes work, and I was immediately relieved of all and any fears of tornadoes from that point.
Why?
Yeah,
When
tornadoes
demon comes and
horrifying.
steals
Because
your
when
house,
I was a kid, I lived on Beach Avenue in Price Hill, and that street is steep as shit. I was like, "There's no fucking way."
There's been tornadoes
come
through that
towards me.
area, though.
No, there hasn't.
Yeah, there has.
No,
They
there
don't
fucking
go
hasn't.
tornadoes. The hills break up. The
There was one in the 60s for
No,
like
there
Sawyer
was-
Not in
Ice
that
and shit.
area.
but that's not Price Hill. Like the actual hills break up the weather systems. See, I didn't know. I know a lot about tornadoes, but because of how scared I am, like
have you ever been around one? I'm afraid. I'm
Yeah.
terrified of tornadoes.
yeah,
as well.
yeah, I've been around them a bunch of times. That's why I'm
Really?
scared of them. I used to not be scared of them when
What
they were
happened?
just a
Yeah,
thing.
I want to
heard.
hear a story. I want to hear some crazy shit.
I mean, I was in a hotel room in Nashville, which I got the hotel room in Nashville because the storm was coming.
Were you by
You could
yourself?
see it, yeah.
Scary.
I was on my way to Shreveport, Louisiana, so it's not like it was going to get better.
More
Once I
tornadoes
left,
down in Shreveport.
and the tornadoes, the tornado knocked down a self-storage place right next to the hotel. 4 tornadoes went through Tennessee. One of them hit the building where the Predators play hockey, and it was during a game. Like, it went by, like, they had to put everyone in the concourses, like, they had to stop the game for a little bit. It fucked up Jackson, Tennessee real good, and I think Memphis or West Memphis, like, something like that. Like, it was that line of storms.
God damn.
And it fucked up this whole thing behind the hotel was gone. Every 40 minutes I had to go down to the lobby because they would call all the rooms and be like, it's a tornado warning, everybody has to be in the lobby. Fucking construction guys would go out in the parking lot and look at everything.
Dude, fuck all of that. I'm not a fan of something that can swallow you into the air and just fucking just slam things into you and rip stuff apart in a fraction of a second. Like, it's horrifying to me. It always has been.
You have like no control over it whatsoever.
At
That's
least
the
it'd be
scariest part.
fast.
You see
would
like
not be
telephone
fast.
poles
It's probably
through
not
houses
fast.
and
It's
shit.
not fast.
It will yank you in the air. You'll
Because-
fly like 500 feet, and then you'll be totally conscious and aware as you smash into the ground.
Not if I fucking see it coming. I'm sailor's diving, bud. I'm
gonna fight
guaranteeing
it.
impact.
I forget. Wait. No, it's the waiting part too, where you're like, you know it's coming, but you don't know for sure if it's coming at you, but it's coming near, and you just gotta fucking watch it on the news. It feels like fucking what I assume Vietnam felt like. Like
Sit there
very
and
like
wait
yeah, you just waiting for something to fucking bad to happen.
to win the shittiest lottery of all time ever. Like, oh, now I'm gonna die by tornado. The way no one wants to go out.
That part sucks. That's why I prefer earthquakes, because there's no fucking warning.
What are those like to be in? Are you just like the
Well, we
room's
have
rumbling
one.
and shit's falling
You
apart?
have like it's like a minute. I've never been in one that was enough where I like figured it out in time to realize I was in an earthquake
weird.
and then have any time to like think
Process it.
of that. Because when I lived there, I was in a couple that were all at night or like early in the morning.
This was LA, right?
Yeah, so like I would wake up because there was an earthquake. And so it was always that. Like I was waking up and then like, what the fuck? And then like, oh, it's an earthquake, and then it's over.
Yeah, they're only like short bursts of them. And we had one in Ohio like in 2012. I remember waking up to like something falling off my wall, not thinking anything of it, because like you're on the ground and you're moving, but your head's like the only thing like being stable.
Yeah, I remember that when the plates in my kitchen made enough noise that it woke me up.
But you just
The
go right back
plates
to
in my
bed, like, oh,
cabinets.
whatever.
I slept right through it.
Same.
Everybody was like, "Holy shit!" They were all talking about it. All a
Yeah.
good story. I
kinda
was
crazy.
like, "No, just right."
I mean,
to
I was
sleep."
probably still up.
Doesn't even feel.
To
I mean,
be
it
honest.
was such a minor thing that it kind of didn't even feel real to us, because it was.
Well,
just
why
something
would
we'd
it
never
feel
been used to.
real?
I
That's
just-
not even supposed to happen here.
Well, yeah, but that's why it's
It's
crazy.
like if you woke up because a bus drove through your living room. Do you take there's going to be an extra few seconds of what? Really? No.
Yeah, for
Ah,
sure.
fuck. Oh, it was a bus. Right? You're not going to want to, you're going to be like, no way was that a bus. I'm still dreaming. That's too crazy.
I can only imagine like being in fucking California and you're one of those tall skyscrapers and like it just starts earthquake. You feel the earthquake and I've seen videos of like the buildings because they're built to like survive in that and they wobble and shit.
Yeah,
just
just-
imagine being on the top floor as it's wobbling, watching all the other buildings moving back and forth.
No thanks.
Scary. There's also videos on the internet of like people on the water when it happens, and like all the water's just splashing everywhere in the river and everything, and everybody's moving all over the place. It
I'd
looks
rather be
fucking
in
crazy.
the water than on land during an
Yeah, well, that's
earthquake.
probably safer.
Well, I don't know. I'm not, I think I've recently come to the realization that I don't actually know how to swim. I only know enough to not drown immediately.
Like
Right.
doggy
You
paddle.
keep yourself afloat, but you're
Well,
not.
it's more of a thrashing, just a general thrashing that keeps my head
a
above
thrusting
water.
thrash.
Didn't you just spend all day yesterday in a swimming pool?
Yeah, but not the deep end. I was on a floating. I spent all day yesterday on a wet chair.
Okay,
Yeah. In
All
the
right.
sun
that does make more sense.
on mushrooms.
Okay,
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it was
You
a good
weren't
day.
scared at all.
That's a
knowing
good
that
time.
You thrash to survive in the water.
No. Because I know, like,
No.
it's a pool.
I can.
Because that's how I know. That's how come I know how to do that. Because I know I can get to the side.
I can swim, and I can swim confidently, and I can swim at a nice speed. But
Like a gazelle.
Like a Michael
I
Phelps.
wouldn't say Gazelle or Michael Phelps. But even knowing that, I still do not feel confident knowing that there would be any impending danger behind me. I have such a fear of anything coming at me in the water.
Especially how murky it gets.
Even
and you
in a
just can't
pool?
see.
In a pool, no.
well,
In a
That
pool?
parano-
Invisible shark?
That
You mean
paranoia
to
is
tell me
diminished.
you wouldn't swim hella
But I-
far out into the ocean? and
Not
just
even a
sit
little
there?
bit.
It's
Not
scary,
like
dude.
scuba diving in theory, like talking about it is like, yeah, I would love that. But then like you get me out there, I'm like, I'm gonna be down in this alien planet where I'm not suited to survive, and there's
Right.
bigger
You
things
better
that
have a
can
harpoon.
ruin me
Yeah.
quicker than I could ever ruin it in this environment.
You sound like a man who wants to visit all the aquariums. Because I love it too. Go to the aquarium and then you go in that tunnel where it's all around you, but
Yeah.
you're still not underwater. You're
Yes.
just in a tunnel that's in water and you can see it all. That's dope. But
Yeah.
putting on the thing and going down there, plus you got to take classes.
Sometimes
You
you
got to
do.
get certified. You got to get a fucking certification to scuba dive. Come on. If I was going to get a certification, it'd be to fix your air conditioning. It's like, I'm not going to take a class just so I can scuba dive. I'll go to the aquarium.
Well, you get so much limited visibility out in the water because I've gone snorkeling in like 100 feet water and shit, and it's crystal
How long
clear.
is your snorkel?
Oh no, it's only a foot. It's only a foot.
So
But
how
you just when you go underwater, when you come back up, you just spit it all out. You blow all the water out. That's how you do it. So you
I
keep it in your mouth
So
as
that's
you
like
go
a
down.
real thing that you do. I
Yeah.
thought that was just those snorkelers showing off, like just
Where they
being,
shoot the water out of it.
yeah, like
like
where
in the
they're
movies.
yeah in the movies. I thought it was just always kind of being a dick. Just like watch it, like you don't expect it, then it gets in your face.
Yeah, and
Like,
it-
oh, I think that was also your spit. That's in my eyes.
the worst is when your mouth is open when the water goes in, when you're just a little too far underneath the water, and then you just get that nasty mouthwash of seawater. It's really shitty. But I mean, yeah, it's fucking terrifying because you can't hear a single thing that's coming at you. I mean, luckily,
And they can hear you forever
smell you,
away.
and smell you. I remember
Right.
when we were going out to
I like
this
to make
location.
noise. I do this. I go. Right. Let's give those sharks something to fucking think about. Right? Like those. Like if there's someone coming after me and I do that, they'll be like, "Fuck."
I want to
This
fight a
guy's-
whale today.
It's like how Han Solo started speaking Wookiee to fucking Chewbacca, and Chewbacca was like, "Oh, finally somebody." Like, and then the sharks are like, "You can," and then they go, "Oh," right,
Oh,
the
good
sharks
point.
all back.
right, and then now I'm friends with the sharks, and they eat everybody, but not me,
Then you ride them like a surfboard to the shore.
right? And then when they find out I'm not really part of their group, they feel so betrayed.
Stupid.
They all wish they could close their eyes so they could cry for once. Those fucking sharks, I'll backstab them.
Dude, the sharks in the fucking ocean are huge, though, compared to what you see in the aquarium.
All right, it turned a little bit into Ray Romano there at the end.
Sharks
Hey,
are
I
his
fucking
favorite
hate
animal.
Ray Romano, and I hate Everybody Loves. Everybody Loves.
It's
Raymond.
kind of a shitty show.
Have you seen
Seinfeld.
Get Shorty?
Seinfeld's great.
Seinfeld's a shit.
There's
I've
a
seen
TV
those
show
old
called
clothes.
Get Shorty now.
That's
What?
stupid
It's
as fuck.
on. No, the TV show is off the charts cool.
It's really good.
It's way better. It's so
You're
different
talking
than the
about
movie.
The John Travolta movie.
What is
Yeah,
this?
yeah.
Set this up for the listeners because I have no idea.
The show
what
is
this
called Get Shorty. It's on Netflix. It stars Chris O'Dowd, like that fucking friendly Irish bloke, as he plays Chili Palmer, not John Travolta. But he's not. I think his name's not even Chili Palmer in this. But it's like the way it's like how Justified was based on Elmore Leonard books. Like they just kind of took like all the cool parts of Get Shorty and then fixed all the fucking lame parts of Get Shorty. And so the show is fucking dope. It's super fucking violent and weird, and it's funny in good ways, not in the John Travolta movie ways. It's dope. And Ray Romano's in it. And you'll be like, I was wrong about... You're right about Everybody Loves Raymond, but you're wrong about Ray Romano.
I hate the way he talked.
Did you guys see?
hate-
No,
Yeah.
but that's Everybody Loves Raymond, Ray Romano. When you see him in Get Shorty, that's not even...
He talks totally different. He
He's
doesn't
so
even sound
different.
like that. He definitely has a nasally voice, and Everybody Loves Raymond.
His
but,
brother
yeah.
was a fucking actual cave troll.
Yeah,
His mom was just the most annoying person.
His mom and dad were
Oh,
the
you
two
didn't
funniest
mean
people.
literally.
They were
Like
they made
Peter
I thought he
Boyle.
meant that's his backstory in real life. Like his brother is a cave troll. And I
did
was like,
too, I did
you
too.
just breezed over it, and I was like, hold the fuck up.
His brother, Bray Bromano. Wait, Bray Romano. Ray Bromano is a cool way to say, what's up, Ray Bromano? right? Like, what's happening, Bohemian Rhapsody? That's
You gonna start that off after this podcast? That's gonna be the new thing.
I mean, I already forgot. Oh, Ray Bromano. Yeah, I'll do that. I'm gonna call my brother that tonight.
Text it to him now, otherwise you're gonna smoke that bowl again and forget immediately.
You're right.
Yeah, you gotta.
That's a
let
good
him know
point.
right
Anyway,
now.
so Streets of Fire, man. Walter Hill. You guys know who Walter Hill is?
Not at all, but
He
that's
made
all
The
right.
Warriors. He was going to direct Alien until they finally relented and let Ridley Scott direct it. But he did produce Alien and Aliens. He directed 48 Hours, Wild Bill, that Jeff Bridges one. But Streets of Fire was one he did, and that one it's called A Rock and Roll Fable. It's fucking bananas. Diane Lane. It's Diane Lane's first movie. She sings a song like with her fucking band, and then right when that song's over, it's like the concert is one song long, and when the song's over, she gets kidnapped by a biker gang that's led by Willem Dafoe. Oh man,
That's my dude.
Young Willem Dafoe.
yeah, young Willem Dafoe. I mean, this is '84, man. Rick Moranis is in it.
Damn.
It came out a week before Ghostbusters. It bombed hard, but it is fucking dope. Like, if you like weird fucking... There's motorcycles and pickaxes. What Walter Hill says he did is he said he made he sat down and his intention was to make a movie that would have been his favorite movie when he was 15. And he fucking did.
Just nails every
Yeah, like-
15-year-old boy's dream.
Well, before the future started, like everyone up until like when everyone got phones and stuff, then it got all weird. I don't know what those people are into, but every 15-year-old before that, yeah, this movie is dope.
I mean, I grew up in the generation that does have phones, and my shit was Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. It didn't matter what it was, as long
Yeah.
as it had fucking giant Arnold Schwarzenegger yelling
Last
shit that I
Action
can't
Hero is
understand.
what that whole story
Oh,
you
man.
just
Ripping
said made
people
me think
apart
of.
and shit, and that's in the same vein of that stuff. Just fucking real macho fucking shit getting blown up and yelling and blood, and there's a fucking some bad guy that's a badass. It's all the same shit.
This one isn't that. I've seen both of those. This is not that. This is even weirder than that.
Okay.
This is like in the this is like in the same. It feels like the same like universe that the Warriors or like Big Trouble in Little China.
Streets of New York and shit like that.
Streets of New York seems a little too real. Like Escape from New York, maybe.
That's what I meant. Escape from New York.
Snake Plissken.
Talk about with Snake
Yeah,
Plissken,
yeah,
right?
Like really like, what the fuck is this? And the car, like nothing makes any sense. It's all spread out. It's kind of like Toontown. Like all the cars are from the fucking 30s. They're all bank robber cars.
Like Roger Rabbit style is
Yeah.
what you're going for?
I guess. I mean, it's just supposed to be nothing. Like you can't lock it down anywhere.
I'm gonna have
It's
to go
wild.
back when I'm editing all this and fucking write down all these movies and actually watch them because they sound cool, but I'm sorry to not have anything to contribute to the obscure
I wish
80s
I've seen it
stuff,
'cause
but
it
I
sounds
wish that I
crazy.
had because it
No,
does
I mean,
sound
you don't
shit that
have
I'd
to.
be
You want
into.
to talk about Last Action Hero for a minute?
Yeah, dude, that's
Yeah.
As good as Last Action Hero is, it's the worst Shane Black movie.
Shane Black is the dude from Predator, right? And
He wrote,
directed Iron
he was
Man.
in Predator, the first Predator.
He was
and
Hawkins.
He
He had the
wrote
glasses.
and directed The Predator, the one that came out last year.
Mm-hmm.
And he died in Predator, the first one, because they hired him to be in it as a way to get him to rewrite the script, and he wouldn't do that for free. So whoever they did get to rewrite the script rewrote it, so he died first.
Who does he play in Last Action Hero, though?
No, he's not in Last Action Hero. That's another movie he wrote. The movies he wrote are Monster Squad. You ever see Monster Squad, where the kids accidentally wake up all the Universal monsters? The
Dude, Monster Squad.
Frankenstein's
yeah,
monster.
That
and
was my shit.
Dracula.
Yeah.
Right, like it's all like the Mummy. It's all like it's like the monsters that would chase around Scooby Doo got
Yeah.
loose in the town from Gremlins.
It's like Stranger Things almost. Like these little like smart ass kids. Like
Yeah, it's wild. Lethal. Then he wrote Lethal Weapon, Lethal Weapon 2, The Last Boy Scout, Last Action Hero, Long Kiss Goodnight, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Iron Man 3, The Nice Guys and The Predator.
Bro, have you seen The Predator? You're saying Last Action Hero is the worst one he's ever made, and you
Yeah,
saw
yeah,
The Predator?
The Predator is dope.
The new one, dude?
The
Yeah.
new one?
It was cool.
I haven't seen it, to be honest.
You didn't like it?
It was a pile of dog shit, I felt like.
A pile of dog shit.
A pile of...
Well, let's hear your arguments.
Where did those Harleys
Yeah,
come
what did
from?
you want it
Where
to
the
be?
fuck did those... I know that there's a bunch of ridiculous shit, but it's like the way that they shot shit in the original Predator movie. You're never going to do that again. You're never going to figure that whole thing out.
You
the way
still
that-
got new lore out of it. You got
I guess, but it
Predator
doesn't
lore
matter.
out of the
You can
story.
crank out any amount of dog shit lore. It doesn't make me like the lore any better. I was fine with just the first one. If that's the best of what you got, and it is.
I want to know
'cause
more about
Predators
the
was
Predator.
shitty.
I do,
too.
but I don't want them to do a shitty job of explaining more. I'm like, if you could do it
You
just
gotta
as cool
take
as you
what
did.
you get.
No, if you can do it as cool as you did it the first time, cool. I'll watch it, but I'll give them all a chance because I fucking love that first one so much. But I watched that one. Yeah, it's got all the guns but it's not shot the right way. I feel like the dialogue isn't there. I don't care about the characters at all. Like, there's none of them that I felt like about like how I felt about Arnold Schwarzenegger and Carl Weathers and fucking like just these band of like weirdos. The dude that cuts his chest open, forget his name, but in real life he's an actual like
He actually did
psychopath
that too,
was on
didn't he?
set. I don't know. Mansfield was saying that outside, but I don't know if we
He
actually
was in
confirmed that.
he was in 48 Hours also.
Yeah, that dude's a real maniac. In real life is what they were saying about him. Allegedly, whatever. I think he's dead now. But they didn't capture that shit that I felt in the... I guess every movie doesn't have to be the first fucking movie, obviously. But
You didn't
it's,
like Predator 2?
in that same vein, no, that movie... What the fuck? That movie's
I
dog shit,
I
too.
didn't hate it either.
thought it
Every
was pretty
Predator
good.
movie, I'm like, well, it's a Predator movie. They gave me something.
Alien
I got
vs. Predator
I
is
got
hot
some
garbage.
content.
I like thinking about it that it's because it's Danny Glover in Los Angeles. I love how the future ones it was like 97 or something.
And they had the
Like,
goofiest
damn.
guns.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Like, but it was also just like a cop movie. Like, what if predators had to get chased down by cops?
Right.
Like, that's fine.
Like a buddy cop film without the buddy.
But they made it feel campy in that second one was my problem with it. In the first one, he almost has got some level of seriousness to it. Even though it's fucking ridiculous, you really sit down and think about it, but it didn't have that campy quality. Sure, Arnold Schwarzenegger's throwing daggers into people and he's like, stick around and shit like that, but there's the goofiness and the campiness, but it's not on that like right in front of your face sort of level. You got Gary Busey as a FBI agent that's following fucking Danny Glover around because the FBI knows about the predators and shit like that, and then he's in a containment suit and they got it figured out. We got his heat vision figured out and shit. I don't know. I just don't buy it after that first one, I guess. It's my
Well,
problem.
I mean, that's why this one is like a reboot of it, and also that's pretty crazy to say all of that when it sounds a lot like you mean I wish I was still 14.
Yes, that is what I meant to say. Thank you.
Well, I can't do anything about you being 14 and having never seen a Predator movie before and finally seeing a Predator movie. If you can separate that from The Predator is a pretty dope movie. The way that the group got
Cody.
together that time was like how it got like thrust onto them because they were all going to the fucking nut house. I thought that was fun. I thought the whole thing was I liked it. I also don't like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't like fucking strong guy movies.
Yeah,
I
so
hear
suck
ya.
it, Cody.
No, I hear you. I've got
But
my,
like I do really
Altruistic
like I do
purist.
like Predator. I like that. I liked Predators. Did you see Predators?
With
I
Adrian
did, of course I
Brody,
did.
ripped
Did you
that-
hate that too?
I thought that it was a lot better than a lot of the other shit. I liked it better than The Predator or Predator 2. And everybody seemed to hate it. And I was like, it was fine. They gave me their hunting ground world. And they didn't show me their world. And I kind of like that. Because I'm like, don't fucking spoil what their world looks like unless you're going to do it real right. But they gave you a new super predator and shit. And like all this cool
Whoa, Cody.
stuff. What?
God,
What'd I
dude.
say?
It's not yours.
I know it's not mine.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Well, I just...
When you listen back to this and you're writing that list of movies, you should say, listen to this part a little bit too. It's they didn't take. Just watch the first one if you don't ever want to watch another one. Just then don't watch any of them.
Yeah.
Cody does this all the time.
But the Predators, like, there is no bigger world for Predators unless they kept making those movies.
Right, I hear
Like, I
you.
like all the Alien movies. I like the fucking David Fincher one that's just in tunnels. I like the fourth one that's got Ron Perlman in it.
I love all the Alien movies.
All the
me
Alien
too.
movies.
I like Prometheus too.
Yeah, love those.
But
That was a
the
good movie.
Predator,
The
like, check
engineer
this
style
out.
rules.
Will this help? The Predator is evolving. That's what the Predator was about, is how it's pulling, the DNA or whatever to become a better, like, it's like,
Superorganism.
yeah, it's like doing its own self-genetic engineering. At the beginning of The Thing from 2011, the one that they intended to be a remake, but the producers made a prequel. The Thing comes out of a spaceship, and in the spaceship, you can see that there's like pods where they have like that was a spaceship filled with the galaxy's greatest hunters,
Right.
including an alien and a predator. And the Thing got loose on that ship and crashed that ship, and then it got out and destroyed that Norwegian.
So the Thing's in the same universe as Alien.
Yeah.
What?
Right.
That's pretty cool, man.
Now
I never
that's
knew
pretty
that about it.
mind-blowing.
Right. That's why the Predator has to keep getting the doing the genetic engineering, because it's up against the Thing.
Right.
They got
That makes a lot of sense
Thing
when they-
versus Alien versus Predator.
Yeah. Well,
versus
so
Terminator.
my problem with it isn't that, like, I don't feel like it's mine and shit and I should be writing it. My problem is there is a whole lore already figured out. And you've gone on this fucking rant about Star Wars, you cocks. You're over here like, yeah, Cody, it isn't yours. But you went on the same fucking rants about the new Star Wars movies, and you can make the same argument. They're fine, it isn't his, but they have fucking lore in these comic books that's great about the Yautja, and they have, like, different predators over time. They've got these awesome stories written out. Like, for instance, the sequel to Predator 2 was supposed to be back in pirate times and shit, and it was supposed to tie into the ending when Danny Glover gets that fucking pirate gun or whatever the fuck, and it's got a name on it or whatever. That Predator got it from the last human. There's a whole backstory that they never ended up writing Predator 3 about, but they could have done that instead. And they didn't, and they never go into these fucking cool elements. It's always like they keep trying to do the same fucking movie, and they keep trying to recapture the same thing.
Well,
Like, do something new and original.
Did you
fuck.
see the new Joker isn't going to follow the comic books whatsoever?
I can't wait for that movie. It
I'm
looks
fine
awesome.
with that. It's cool.
It's a whole
They're doing
new,
something
all
different. That's
original.
fine.
Oh, I'm gonna jump in and say I didn't know that Predator had comic books.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Shitload of them.
Same
But
with the
did they come out
aliens.
before the movies?
No.
No,
So
after.
it started with Predator, and
Then the movie,
world
then the
started
movies
expanding.
are in charge.
Right. I hear you, but like they can grab these ideas from the comic books.
So
like
you're
they
mad
do.
that the Jedi Academy trilogy is no longer canon?
Yes.
You're mad that the Grand Admiral Thrawn trilogy is no longer canon?
No, I just think that there should be more lightsabers, not less.
Really? I think there should be less Jedi in general. That's always the most boring part. I'm tired of watching
I
them
just
go to
want
fucking
laser
school.
swords.
They're always going to fucking school.
I hear you.
I know, but like laser
Fuck that.
swords. But check out, like,
Laser
remember
swords
when
are mind powers.
remember when Finn had that stormtrooper thing that could
Yeah.
fight against, like,
That
just have a
Tonfa?
bunch of people have those. Those are dope. Like, you don't
well,
have to have
laser
them be
swords.
all Jedis, or they can be Jedis. But why does there always have to be half of one of the movies about a person learning to be a Jedi? It's not real.
Agreed.
I don't have to learn it.
Agreed.
You're saying you want a
We're on
movie
the same
that's about
page.
Just be a goddamn Jedi.
experience.
Like, finally, we got a Spider-Man movie where we didn't have to watch his fucking uncle die.
Dude, did you watch the new one?
I haven't seen the Far From Home yet.
God, it's so good. I want to talk
I
about
want to see it so bad.
It'll blow
good.
your mind.
But that you're naming the exact issue that I'm bringing up is that they keep trying to recapture the first. And it's like, don't do that. Do your own thing this time. That's why it's like,
Well,
then
this
they keep
one-
trying to do that over and over again. It's like, fuck,
You gotta
something
do well.
original.
First of all, Predator 2 was nothing like the first Predator, and it was trash. But it was still Predator, so it's better than a not Predator movie, I guess.
Absolutely.
In that way. Like, I've seen a lot of terrible movies that don't have Predators in them, and Predators do elevate
You're right.
the material a
Right.
little bit.
Yeah.
Like, a bad movie about Predators is still better than a bad movie.
Yeah. That's a very good point.
But with this one, nobody knows about the comic books. Nobody cares about the Predator. So they made a movie to restart the thing. And then now, like, wait until the next Predator movie comes out. See what happens then. Like, if they keep doing it, like, I'm saying right now, like, to, like, set all of that aside and start with this movie going forward and see what happens then.
Right.
And if they keep doing the same dumb shit, then yes, be mad again. But don't be mad now.
No, dude, I'm not mad. I go in wanting to love it
He's
every
mad
time,
as
and I'm just
fuck.
like,
He hates
I watch it all. Like I've seen it. I've seen The Predator like maybe 4 times. If it's on HBO, I'll watch it. Sometimes I'll fucking go to HBO and find it.
no, I've seen it 3 times. I've seen it 3 times, but
I like that guy from Logan.
Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, that one.
No, he had the hand.
Wolverine.
Boyd. His name is Boyd Holbrook.
I know exactly who you're
Yeah.
talking about.
I think it's funny that Olivia Munn is in it, and every time Olivia Munn is in anything, the moment she shows up, I think, oh yeah, it's the other one. It's the other one I like. This is not the Olivia I like. This is the other one. The other one is better. I can't remember. There's Olivia Wilde and Olivia Munn, and I can't ever remember which one is which until the movie starts. And then I go, oh damn, like that X-Men movie, and you're like, oh fuck.
I thought it was the other one all along.
Well, she doesn't seem to act a lot. She just does the same thing. But Jake Busey's in The Predator, man. Come on, Jake Busey's fine.
Who's Jake Busey? Yeah.
He's one of the. I like that guy Sterling Brown, the black dude in that. Like the way, like his attitude, the way he carried himself was very fun. He had like a Han Solo quality.
Is that Jordan Peele that you're talking about?
No. Jordan Peele is not in that movie.
In The Predator?
Keegan-Michael Key is in that movie.
Yeah, you're right.
Sterling Brown is the guy. He's the black guy that killed. He's like from the government or whatever. He's the one that knows about the Predators. He's the one that goes, yeah, it's happened in 80, 87, and 97.
Oh, yeah.
He's in like Hotel Artemis and that show that everybody loves about
Seinfeld.
This Is Us. Or Seinfeld. He's probably in a Seinfeld. But I like the way he had like a roguish quality. And I like that attitude going forward. Maybe, I got this one set the floor at a place where I'm like, I'd be psyched to see the second one. And I don't know about
I'm going. I'll buy tickets.
Well,
I'll
of course
go
you're
every
gonna.
time.
But I'm like, as a casual fan, I'm back in. I'm excited to see what the next one's gonna be. Because after Predator 2, who gives a fuck what the next one's gonna be?
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know, man.
I agree.
There is some cool fucking backstory though that you can get into.
You
want to
get into some more backstory? Here's one.
Yes.
Where did the first Predator take place?
In the jungles of some made-up country, I think.
Oh
is
wow,
what it was.
you're real fucking. You're going to the mat over this, and you don't even remember the name Valverde.
Yeah, it's
Not
a made-up
even
country.
real
Right?
Yeah.
fan.
They made up something.
But they
that
made up the
sounded
name
kinda,
Valverde.
He's never even
I don't
watched
remember
it.
that part.
But they also
Have you
made up the
even
name
seen
Predator,
it?
and you remember that part.
That was
Valverde.
crucial.
I know. But Valverde is where it happened, and Valverde only exists in a handful of movies. One of them is Die Hard 2.
Really? They
Yeah.
exist in the same world?
Yeah,
They must,
I heard that.
Holy shit.
because that's where the Noriega character is coming from in Die Hard 2. Valverde. He's being extradited from Valverde.
That's cool as shit that they throw in those little Easter eggs for you to pick up on. And if you don't
The
really
truck
look for it,
the terrorists in Die Hard drive up in
I don't remember.
is called Pacific Courier, and that is a fake company that's used in movies sometimes, and it's also the plane that explodes once everybody finally gets off the bus in Speed.
This is why you're good on Doug Loves Movies, because you can pull all this shit out. Where you just store up movie information? Is that like the biggest?
I don't know.
Just love movies.
I just like movies a lot.
Did you ever see
I
Bright?
appreciate it.
What, Brave?
Yeah, Bright.
Jesus.
Bright. Oh no,
Yeah.
the Netflix movie about orcs or whatever. Like, what if
Pretty fucking dumb, right? Sounds
what if
pretty
the fucking Lord of the
stupid.
Rings happens for real?
Yeah, stupid
that
as
what it
fuck.
is?
The dumbest shit I've ever heard.
Is it good?
No, it's hot garbage.
No, it's pretty good.
It's
a
pretty
Dude, I
fine
couldn't
movie.
finish it.
It's
I couldn't
alright.
finish it, dude. I couldn't finish it. It was such hot garbage.
I mean, what bummed me out about it is I am a big I love Joel Edgerton. I watch just about any movie he's in, and he's
See
in
the orc?
Yeah, he's the orc.
I thought
So
he was the
did-
only good part of the whole movie.
Well, I don't want to see Joel. Like you're just watching a
He
mask.
carries it.
Like he's in Midnight Special.
Perfect Storm.
Is he in A Perfect Storm?
He's in The Perfect Storm.
I've never seen The Perfect Storm. I don't like boats.
Scary.
What the fuck else is he
boats.
in? Oh, he's in. He's in like Alien.
He was in the Thing.
He was in the new Thing. He was in. He's in that movie Gringo that was directed by his brother Nash Edgerton. He wrote The Gift.
That was
with Jason Bateman and Rebecca Hall, the girl from The Town, and him. Gordo.
The Town is such a good fucking movie.
Have you ever seen? Fuck, I bet this was an obscure movie that my girlfriend had showed me. That was.
It is, yeah.
I forget the fucking name of it, but I bet you would know it if I just started describing it. About this kid from the beginning of the movie. He's like setting up. He's in this like big ass mansion or whatever. He's got some rope with him. You don't really know what he's doing. They're showing a lot of his feet. He's climbing up on a step stool, and then you realize this 10-year-old's about to hang himself. And he does, and it's graphic, and it's like, like all this crazy shit. I think it came out in the either late 70s or early 80s. But then this woman casually walks into the room, and she's just like, blah blah blah, quit playing around, quit always doing this. And the kid like tongue comes out, and he's like, and then his eyes get all red, and you're like, holy shit, you're really showing like the suicide of a kid here. And then the lady walks back out, and she's like, you really gotta something in Maud, Harold, you gotta really fucking, you gotta stop doing this. And then she walks out, and you think the kid's really dead. And then he gets up, and, like, takes the fucking rope around his neck and gets down. He's like, fuck, didn't get her. And then like the movie keeps going on. He's like going to funerals for fun and shit like that. It sounds like one of these types of movies that you described, and something that I've never heard of until it was very obscure and very weird. I think
it sounds like Harold. A Chuck Palahniuk book.
It's weird. Yeah. It's super weird. Yeah. It's called Harold and Maude. Is
Al Pacino in that?
I don't think Al Pacino's in Harold and Maude. He might be though. You gotta look that shit up. That's
yeah, I mean,
computer right here.
I'll tell you, for sure, I'm never gonna watch that movie.
It's a good film. It's a weird thing. If you're
I don't like
these
films.
Obscure.
Yeah,
I like movies.
Well, this is a movie that's also a film. Came out in '71, I guess.
What the fuck?
You know what I want to watch? What I'm gonna watch next is called Violent Cop. I just saw it somehow. Like I bounce around in iTunes and stuff.
Like Bad Lieutenant, like the
this
B-movie
this is a Japanese movie from like '89. A TV star was in it, and he was like I guess like a comedy actor on TV, and so he made the movie super dark and violent. Because he wanted people kept laughing, so every like test audiences would laugh, and so he'd like go back and tweak it and make it darker, and meaner and more violent until they stopped laughing, and so it's apparently fucking bananas.
When did this fucking thing come out? What's it called? Violent Cop?
'89, Violent Cop. Oh, Bud Cort, that's who it is.
Do you like bad movies too? Like really ridiculous bad movies?
Well, it depends on what you mean.
Like
there are
Thanksgiving. Or Chopping Mall.
Thanksgiving, I saw Thanksgiving. That's a little bit on the too bad side. Like
it's really bad.
It's like irredeemable. It could have had not that rape. Right? Like there was like
with the gravy flavored condom.
Yeah, like why are you
What are we talking about?
Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving is a movie about a killer turkey on Thanksgiving, and he talks like a gangster, and he just goes around and makes these one-liners about turkey.
Gangster?
Gobble,
You're gonna
gobble,
say gangster? Not gangster. Gangster is like Al Capone. The voice they give this turkey is racist as fuck.
Yeah?
The movie's like 75 minutes long. It feels like forever.
Then we did an hour and 15?
The curse of this turkey, it was like the first turkey killed by white people or some kind of witch thing happened. Yeah. So 304 years later or 504 years later or some shit was this turkey comes back to life. Like you're making all of this up. Why didn't you just round out those numbers a little bit?
It was awful because it was during the pilgrimage. Blah. And the first scene's this girl in a pilgrim outfit with her tits out running away in the woods. Yeah, the whole time.
It's like The Witch. Have you seen that?
Yeah. I like that movie, though. The Witch was kind of a freaky, dread-filled movie.
Well, I don't like that. See, that's the other thing I've done. I've eliminated, like, those feelings happen enough in life. You don't have to add to it.
I don't like horror movies. I don't like watching a lot of horror. I'll watch the sci-fi because sci-fi kind of bleeds into horror a little bit.
Like Event Horizon.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that
I think
one.
horror has
That's
some
my
of the
shit.
better sci-fi if you pick the right ones.
Yeah, but those fucking jump scares, I'm tired of it. I just,
Yeah, that sucks.
and I gotta be
Right.
tense when I'm just trying to chill and smoke a little weed
Why do
and
we
watch a
enjoy
movie.
that?
Like, I don't want to jump and be
I
afraid to go to
live
bed.
for that
You,
shit.
you psychopath! You take fucking psychedelic drugs and watch this shit. He literally he'll take a fuckload of acid and sit there and
I
stare
wouldn't
at
say a
the
fuckload.
whatever. How much do you take? And then
12
watch
tabs.
these scary ass
Like
things.
4 at most.
4 different times.
Jesus,
Of,
Luke. And
I
you'll
mean,
intentionally fuck with your own mind like that?
Yeah.
I saw the first time I ever ate acid. I watched that movie. Somebody put that movie Strange Days on,
Yeah.
and that movie is not. I should not have watched that movie that
what's
night.
that movie? I've never heard of it.
It's set in the future, probably the late 90s. Where it's like VR. People like, there's like an underground, you get these tapes or whatever, and people act out crimes, and then you put this on, and then you can pretend like you get the feeling of like being a fucking bank robber or whatever, but it's
So
all,
GTA.
it's all made
sounds
up and
cool.
stuff. But there's an underground thing going on where the people are doing the crimes for real, and they're like really murdering and really doing terrible things. And then there's like some kind of drug that's like invisible
What?
that people take also. So it's like the cop that's like trying to find out what's going on. There's a lot of like what is happening and what isn't happening, and is this real and isn't it real in the movie already. And it was the first time I ever ate acid.
Oh
That's
my
some Black
that's a
Mirror
good
shit.
time.
That would bring my head to a really weird space. I remember we did acid. What were you gonna say?
Somebody that night, it was at an apartment complex in Dayton by Wright State, and somebody set a couch on fire on top of the big mailbox thing, which is a federal offense, which meant that one of the times I answered the door was to a couple of FBI agents. The only time I've ever seen an FBI agent that I was aware of in an official capacity was the first night I ever ate acid.
That's insanity. I
So what
remember-
happened there?
I just said, I don't live here. And then I went and got the guy that did. And he talked to him and was like, oh, yeah, we didn't have anything to do with this. And then, like, the next day, I think I found out that it was him.
God
that
damn,
did
did he
it.
end up going to jail for this shit?
No, I mean, this might be the first time I ever said that out loud.
Okay. Well, I'm sure the statute of limitations is way past. You said the 90s. I mean, we're talking.
I mean, it's also male damage. That's probably.
Well, I mean, this is all
Got
just
a
a
long
fictional
leash.
story you're making up for that book that you've been writing. So-
Yeah.
You writing a book?
Yeah, it's called
course.
What the Fuck, Man? The Geoff Tate Story.
It's like telling
Is it
people
really?
that you have a podcast. When
No,
you don't.
I'm
You
not.
could-
I'm not writing a book.
You should start telling people you are, though. It's the same thing. What were
I
you-
should. So yeah, Violent Cop is the next one I'm gonna watch. That looks pretty good.
Yeah. I just downloaded a movie I'm pretty excited about. I don't know if anyone's seen it yet. Alita Battle Angel.
Yeah, that's
Is that good?
I haven't seen it yet, but I'm excited to see it.
It's
Comes
very,
out-
very good, dude.
I think it's
I
out
was
on
on a-
DVD now.
Surprise.
I was on a Doug Loves Movies with Alita the Battle Angel.
No shit.
Yeah, Rosa Salazar. She was also in Chips,
Dude,
Oh wow.
which was way better than it seemed like it was gonna be.
it's so crazy to me that someone can act and just make it seem so real just to be like CGI the whole time. Like, how do you even know what the fuck it's gonna look like as you're acting it when you're just wearing like mocap suits and stuff? Because isn't she completely CGI in the movie?
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh well, from the trailers it looks like it's
Yeah.
It looks like
It's
it's,
got giant
plenty.
eyeballs.
It's got a little of that Speed Racer look to it.
It's based on a really old manga, so yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it's got original Japanese art style like to it.
and that's why it looks like Speed Racer.
Yes.
Oh, cool. All right, so there's a reason.
Yeah.
But Speed Racer's from what, the 60s or 70s
It's
or
an
something?
old manga.
Okay.
Speed Racer sucked.
No, but Speed Racer. Alita's old.
Not the show, the movie.
What were you gonna
I
say?
Oh,
think
okay.
that Speed Racer was like a cartoon they made in the 60s about that was like the made to look like that. Like it wasn't really like there's not an old graphic Speed Racer shit, is there?
Yeah, I
Not
think
that
so.
I've read, but yeah, that's my understanding.
But they didn't make it to look. They did a Japanese version, then when they dubbed it over, they had the shittiest all-time dub company, and they just fucking did a super poor job. That's why it looks like that.
Whoa, so it is Japanese? Speed Racer is Japanese?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why the
I had no
mouths
idea.
look like that. It's not like they weren't trying to like fuck around. They just
The
like
mouths
tried
were-
to dub it, and they did shit jobs back in the day dubbing stuff over.
The mouths are just what make that show so iconic. I feel like just how they word everything. I thought that was great.
It's the eyes.
Yeah,
The eyes.
That's why they put. I mean, Speed Racer had Christina Ricci and Susan Sarandon. They already got big eyes, and they made them bigger. Like Alita Battle got big eyes.
Are you talking about the live action movie that they made of Speed Racer?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you
Did
meant
you
the
like
cartoon.
that? Did you like
I mean,
that?
I don't remember. I saw it on a plane. I don't think so.
Speed Racer. Good
I-
lord.
it-
But
John
I mean,
Goodman's in it.
it'd be nice to have a car that got you out of every single predicament you could ever encounter.
What? His car would come get him?
Yeah, his car would get him out of any fucking situation.
It's got like
man.
that
8
come up in the
buttons that
road.
do every single
Knight
thing you can think
Rider.
of.
It's like
on the
Knight
steering
Rider.
wheel.
Have you guys seen MacGruber? That
I
movie's
love
the best.
MacGruber. I think that is a cult classic, and no one likes that movie or
I
knows
fuck
what
with
it is.
MacGruber.
But I think they're making it a TV show, from what I've heard. But I don't know if that's true. But Will Forte stars in that, and he basically is MacGyver, and he's just really fucking bad, like really fucking bad. And Val Kilmer's the bad guy.
But that's so much like, nah, like who knows? And then but like that sounds like that is what it is. But then that's also so little of it.
I know. It's
That
like
it's like
he-
so fucking crazy.
How would you break down MacGruber? What is it?
I mean, it's like 40% that Miata.
It's like he's trying to. It's a
That's a
rip off
fact.
MacGyver, basically, and he's trying to save the world just doing stupid ass things with basically nothing, like something you'd find out of a garbage
Is it a
can.
comedy or is it? supposed
Yeah,
to
Oh,
be
no,
it's a
it's
comedy,
definitely
yeah.
a comedy.
Okay.
It's so funny.
It's fucking great.
The way like he would pull out his fucking radio,
Every
walk
time he
around
left
that
his car.
every time. It's like he was making fun of MacGruber. Like it started as him making fun of MacGyver, and then he just like built it into something that was so much better than MacGyver.
He made this own
and
character.
so much funnier than just a spoof of MacGyver.
He makes himself like look like such a douchebag the whole time. He also had another show that's just like that. Like Will Forte has his own specific comedy style. Have you ever seen The Last Man on Earth?
Yeah.
Now
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is
yeah.
just a really good example. Well, at least the first couple seasons. That was a really good fucking example of just how good Will Forte
There was
is
some
an actor.
funny fucking shit in that Last Man on Earth or whatever.
It's hilarious.
Like when he's in the
dude.
back seat and he ends up getting into a car crash with his other girlfriend. Like there's like 3 people in the whole world, and the other person that they hit is his other girlfriend, and she's
his
like,
wife.
"Who's she?" And he's like, he's like trying to choke a brick up through his mouth. Me and Pat were
Funny
like
as shit.
holding each other, crying with laughter watching that shit. Like there's some really quality work. He's such an unabashed piece of dog shit the entire time and doesn't give a fuck, and he plays that through so well.
If
He really
you
is.
like that, you'll love MacGruber because it's the same thing
check it
except for
out.
it's I got it. If you want
Did you try to show me this? Maybe was it the one where he's got that license plate? Somebody dicks him over in like
Yeah,
a car.
that's like one of the
and he's
best
sitting
jokes
there
of the
like
whole movie.
GH43 like in his head, like trying to
KFBR.
yeah, and then
And he
he's
obsesses
writing it on
over it.
everything all the time, waiting for that dude to show back up. I think I did
when
see
that
part
dude
of this
came up
and I
and
laughed.
stumbled upon his journal and it had just like
What the
different license plate numbers over and over again to a point where it ends with him shitting on the fucking guy. Oh my god!
I do remember this. That was funny from what you showed me, but I think it was one of those where I was just too drunk at your house. It plays back into the alcohol isn't fun. You just turn into a mess eventually.
There's another part where that made me
He's
laugh,
learning.
where he was fucking his dead wife on a cemetery, and it was just an invisible person, and the groundskeeper saw him fucking dead there. God, fucking hilarious. Definitely.
Tell
watch
me
that
what
movie.
you want me to fuck.
Dude, Jeff, I thought I fucking knew movies before I sat down in a room with you, and you just hit me with like 50 movies in a row. Like, you seen this? You seen that one? You
Yeah,
seen
but
this? And
these-
I'm like,
but-
haven't seen a fucking one of them. Like, I don't know.
You're
movies
just
at all.
uneducated.
But I also didn't know that there was any reason at all to have any opinions about the Predator. And so, you know, it's not like I know everything. I didn't know
ya.
about that there was source material or that it was not being respected.
Right. I care about stupid shit is my problem. But, yeah, we're at about another hour, dude. I know that you said that you only had a half an hour in you or something.
Well, this is fun.
So it's
dude,
fun.
Thanks so much for coming on. Like, what an
Yeah.
awesome podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
this was fun. We'll do this. We should do this again.
For sure.
Absolutely, man. We'll
Yeah,
definitely
we'll
do
have you
that.
back.
Then we'll call the KKK guy or whatever.
No, we don't have to do that.
Yeah,
That was
fuck
earlier
guy.
when I was trying to get some traction.
No, I'm gonna watch those movies, and if you do come back, I'll actually be able to hit you with some fucking more than nope, I haven't seen that, and I gotta just stand there and stare at you.
Well, next time you say a bunch of movies that I haven't seen.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Let's
do
just
you have
have a
upcoming?
movie podcast.
Well,
Well, I
I
mean,
think
I'm
there's
not- I'm
already
just
one of
on
those
it.
he's doing. We don't
I'm
need to do
on it a
another
lot.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doug has a movie podcast.
Boner kill for me.
This comes out this coming up Sunday, Jeff. Do you have any dates that you want to plug? Anywhere that you're gonna be?
No, just my podcast, Alter Tates. Just listen to my podcast, Alter Tates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get all of his albums on those streaming services. Just look out for him. Search Geoff Tate comedian so that Queensryche fuck doesn't keep popping up. And
I
shit.
mean, it's to the point now. If you just search Geoff Tate, it's not far from the top.
Right. Absolutely.
It might be the top, or maybe because I'm of Siri when I Google it.
Do it. He's a great fucking guy. He's
Fuck yeah,
hilarious,
man.
and he's
Glad
a
you
nice
came.
dude.
Yeah.
Well,
Sean,
thanks,
also thanks
guys.
for being on too.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Seriously.
Sean.
Be here.
Yeah, thanks, Sean. Nice to meet you, buddy.
Yeah, you too.
All right, man. Well, thanks again. Fucking awesome. Check out his shit. Thanks for coming on.
Check out Neil to No One.
check out
Oh,
your
we
own-
forgot. We fucking forgot. This is how we ended. There isn't a web store for it yet, but we've got pins and T-shirts coming. Finally, after everybody's been asking on the group page for fucking forever, we do have merch coming. We'll post those links. Be on the
Got it.
lookout for that. Jeff, again, thanks for coming on. You fucks have a great week. Deuces.
Peace.